From the Bukit Jalil Aquatic Center, and round about this time for the past 4 nights, the crowd have gathered here for swimming finals. We are in day 4 of competition. Big crowd expecting big things from Malaysia tonight. They're hoping for 2 gold medals, and both events Singapore have the opportunity to play party poopers in the women's 100 meters breaststroke as well as the men's 4x200 meters freestyle relay, which ends the night off here in day 4 of competition. And it's going to be a packed schedule tonight, a very long night that we anticipate, including, of course, the women's 800 meters freestyle, which was swum this morning and swum in a very quick time as well from Nguyen Tian Vien, who did a time of 8:35.55 this morning. That'll be the time to beat for the 8 finalists swimming in the 800 meters freestyle a little later on. Joe Schooling will swim in his final individual event this evening, and that's the men's 100 meters freestyle. And we kick things off with the women's and men's 200 meters individual medley, the first 2 races of the night. So Singapore have had a very good haul so far. Gerald Koh, 11 gold medals already after 3 days of competition.
Perfect start for Singapore. I think it all really started with Jing Wen on the first day winning the 200 butterfly that she wasn't expected, and it really gave the team a boost. They've done really well since then. Yesterday was probably the best night, right? I mean, 5 gold medals, obviously with the Kwa siblings participating in all 5 of those gold medals except the one with Joe Schooling. But today I think it's going to be a much tougher day for Singapore. Maybe 2 gold medals. Optimistically, hopefully they can get 3 medals, but I'm not sure about that.
Right, 2 gold medals are the ones that we're hoping that Singapore can achieve at least. The Malaysians, as I said, have got their opportunities as well, and they almost are certain. Joe Schooling has got his own band of supporters that have come all the way up from Singapore. A lot of people have expected that Singapore might repeat the performance of 2015. 23 gold medals, I guess that's a little too much to ask, especially for a squad that's so pretty young. But at the same time, we're looking at the best away performance. Now, the best away performance for Singapore was in 2011 and 1975. Both times they came away with 17 gold medals. Let's see if they can surpass that for the class of 2017.
Yeah, I think it'd be very good if they get more than 17 goals. As you mentioned, right, Joe, Zheng Wen, especially those 2, I mean, they're taking on a much lighter schedule than they have in the past. Zheng and Joe both won 10 gold medals at the last SEA Games, but they're both only swimming 3 individual events, I believe, at this SEA Games. So, the association has made the decision to try and let the second generation of swimmers come in, give them a chance to, showcase themselves on a big stage.
Singapore's hopes go with Pang Shengjin and Lionel Koo in the first event of the evening, and that is the 200 meters individual medley. And Shengjin this year has been clocking very good times. In fact, he has been clocking very, very good times over the past 2 years. His personal best, as we have a look, is 2.03 seconds. The defending champion, Joe Schooling, is not in it. One of those events that he is scratched for these games. Unfortunate, because he would just have been the second swimmer to win 3 in a row alongside Miguel Molina if he was able to repeat his golden performances of 2013 and 2015. Well, BS before Schooling, Keaton Nutapong was the last champion in 2011, and he is in the field, I can tell you, leading the lineups off in lane number 1. But Pang Shengjin and Lionel Koo swimming for the very first time in the 200 meters individual medley. Are you surprised by that?
Yeah, Lionel Koo especially, given that he's more of a breaststroke swimmer, but like we have spoken about it before, breaststrokers tend to make very good individual medley swimmers. Sun Jin is looking good all year. I think he's got a good opportunity to win gold in this event, but like you mentioned, he needs to watch out with the 2 outside smoke, right? We've got Keaton in lane 1 and Triadi in lane 7, so they're both on the far edges of the pool, which may be a little bit hard for Sun Jin to see where they are especially on the last 50.
The fastest time this year is posted by lane number 7, Triadi Fauzi, 2:02.31. So we will watch out for him going very quickly. There are 3 swimmers actually, who are butterfly specialists, 2 backstroke specialists, and 2 breaststroke specialists. Ching Hong's one of those 3 in the butterfly specialists, and he is definitely a breaststroke specialist, already a winner in the 200 meters breaststroke. Keaton Nutapong, the 2011 champion, in lane number 1. Jesse Lacuna, who was 3rd in this event in 2015, he is in lane 2. Tran Duy Khoi of Vietnam, lane number 3. He was 4th yesterday in the 200 meters backstroke. And here is Sheng Jin, 2:03, his quickest and his personal best clocked this year when he won the Singapore national age groups. Lim Ching Huang of Malaysia, the butterfly swimmer. Believe it or not, the Malaysians have never won a gold medal in this event in SEA Games history. Lionel Koo of Singapore, who won the ASEAN University Games last year, he's in lane number 6. And then the man who's clocked the fastest time this year in Southeast Asia, Triadi Fauzi, the Indonesian record holder, one of 7 records he owns, he's in 7. Paul Nguyen of Vietnam, another one of those who is quick in both the butterfly and the backstroke, so don't be surprised if he's leading after the first 2 legs of this 200 meters individual medley final. SEA Games record 2:00.66 by Joe Schooling, who is not here. He is here, but not competing in this event for 2017. So don't be surprised if you see the likes of Jessie Lacuna in lane 2, lane number 5 Lim Ching Huang, lane number 7 Triadi Fauzi, and lane number 8 Paul Nguyen going very quickly in this first leg because they're all butterfly specialists heading into the backstroke. It is indeed Paul Nguyen of Vietnam who's got a slight inch ahead of Triadi Fauzi in the first 25 meters.
In the 200 IM, the middle 100 meters is the most important part of the race. The backstroke and the breaststroke leg, that's usually where the race is decided.
So exactly as we said, those butterfly specialists have gone out very quickly, and now here come the backstroke specialists. The catch up from lane 3, Tran Du Khoi, and then Paul Nguyen will try to maintain that lead. We did expect him to win and lead at least after 100 meters because his favorite 2 disciplines have come and gone, the butterfly and the backstroke. Fauzi Triadi is doing very well to keep pace with him. And lane number 4, Pang Sheng Jin at the moment, taking his time before he attacks because his favorite stroke's the last, and that is the freestyle. But will it be too little too late? He turns at the moment just slightly in 7th place. Lionel Koo, this is where he plays catch-up. Keaton Nutapong in lane number 1 has got a lot of catching up to do, and this is where he usually does his business in the breaststroke. Pang Sheng Jun slowly coming back into the picture now, but it's Paul Nguyen of Vietnam who is still in the lead, slightly ahead of Triadi Fauzi of Indonesia, who's already had 2 silver medals in these SEA Games in the butterfly events. Triadi Fauzi is very quick in the freestyle, we know that. So too is Sheng Jin, but is it too little too late for Sheng Jin? Going into the final 50, it will be the freestyle leg. And Triadi has taken the lead now over Nguyen. Surely no one's going to catch him, or is Sheng Jin coming back? Because that's a tremendous turn by Pang Sheng Jin to get right back into the mix. Pang Sheng Jin of Singapore coming back superbly strong against Triadi. Can Triadi actually even look at him? Sheng Jin certainly can. He's breathing towards the way of Triadi, so he knows exactly what he has to do and the grounds he has to catch up with in terms of beating the Indonesian. He is coming back strong. Pang Sheng Jin versus Triadi Fauzi for the gold medal in the 200 meters individual medley. It does go to Triadi Fauzi, just his 2nd individual goal in his SEA Games career, 0.34 ahead of Sheng Jin, and Nguyen of Vietnam once again has to settle for a bronze medal.
I think Sun Chin swam a very, very smart race. He could have taken it out a little bit quicker. At the first 100 turn, I think it was a little bit too far back, but he swam a fantastic breaststroke. He caught up, and I'm surprised actually, given that he's a distance swimmer. I thought he would win it, given that he's got very strong back end speed. But Triadi, obviously, congratulations to him. He's been 2nd and 3rd quite a few times so far in the SEA Games.
He has been the fastest in Southeast Asia this year, and he has proved that point at the SEA Games by being the fastest in the 200 IM. Triadi Fauzi, 2:01. That's a new national record for him. And I believe Pang Sheng Jun's also rewritten his personal best for this event in finishing 0.36 behind Triadi. Paul Nguyen, who led after 100 meters of this race, couldn't keep up with the rest in the final strokes. And Triadi, we all know how quick he is in the freestyle, but Sheng Jin almost. If the pool had been extended by another 10 meters, it might have been Singapore's gold.
Definitely, I think Samjin's obviously got the stamina in him. The longer the races, the better it is. So I think Samjin's got a very, very good chance. I would put him as the favorite for the 400 meter individual medley, the longer part of the medley races.
It's a disappointment for the 2011 champion Keaton Nutapong, who only finishes in 5th spot, tied with Lionel Koo. So the two breaststroke specialists are both tied for 5th. But Pang Xingjun, 2:02.06, he has shaved another 90.94 seconds of his personal best in the SEA Games. Paul Nguyen once again in 3rd, and Jesse Kung Lacuna could not repeat his bronze medal performance from 2015. But Triadi Fauzi, a bridesmaid twice already at these games, giving it his all in the individual medley, and seeing how the likes of Joseph has been dominating the butterfly and freestyle races, both races that he used to pencil himself in for. This might be his next step, to forget about those races and concentrate on the medleys, in fact. So one race down, and if it's exciting as anything goes in this day 4 of competition, as the first race that we've just seen, then we're in for a real treat here at the Bukit Jalil Aquatic Center in KL. 29th SEA Games that has been rippling gold for Singapore in this pool. Remember, synchronized swimming, water polo have already struck gold, and swimming have struck it 11 times round, and almost a 12th for Pang Xingjun. That would have been his first individual gold medal as well, so heartbreak perhaps for Xingjun.
Definitely, I know he's trained really hard. He's definitely wanted to get that gold medal, but again, with the 400 meter individual medley, that's his bread and butter event. He's more a distance swimmer, so I think he has a very, very strong chance of winning the gold in that event.
The next event is also the individual medley, the 200 and the women's version of it. And then we have the 100 meters backstroke right after that, where Singapore have got 2 representatives and 2 big chances of winning the gold medal in Kwa Tseng Wen and Francis Fong. Let's not forget Francis as well. He's not out of the picture. It's not just between Tseng Wen and Gede Sudatawa for that event. Francis is right in the picture too. And in fact, he will be sandwiched by those 2 hot favorites in that event. He will be that little meat in the bread, and who knows, the meat might just come out strong for that event. The atmosphere is loud, and the competition thus far has been pretty inspiring for the spectators. Seen records fall already. Xingjun just I don't know whether that's a look of disappointment or anything from Pang Xingjun.
I think it is. It's his best time, but he really wanted to get that gold medal. That's what matters at the SEA Games. Personally, for me, I'd rather get a gold medal than do a personal best time at international competitions like this.
Well, as you said, he still has the 400 meters individual medley, and looking at his form in the medley races over the last 2 years, he will start that one as one of the favorites. We did pin him down as one of the favorites for this event, but unfortunately pipped out by Triadi.
Triadi is a sprinter, and I mean the 200 IM, for example, is one of my most favorite events, just because it's a sprint. It's a 4-lap sprint, one of each stroke, right? Usually when you think about the 200 meter races, it's not a sprint. You need to have a strategy, whether it's the backstroke, freestyle, or butterfly. You need to have a strategy when to pick up your speed, when to start sprinting. But in the 4x50, I mean in the individual medley, because you're going only 1 stroke per lap, it's pretty much a 4x50 sprint. And you're using different muscle groups at each lap, so it's always a fun race to swim in.
The 200 meters individual medley featuring Kwa Tseng Wen in her only individual event today, and Samantha Yeo, who has got 2 events today, this and the 100 meters breaststroke a little later. So that's the next final.
Ladies and gentlemen,
and there is one hot favorite in this, in lane number 5 from Vietnam, Nguyen Thian Vien, hoping to make it 3 in a row and become the first person to win this event 3 in a row at the SEA Games, since Jocelyn Yeo did it in 2003. Jocelyn won it 7 in a row. Jing, of course, took part in the 400 meters individual medley in 2015, so the IM is not a new event for her. So the shorter distance, and she did look very comfortable in the heats this morning. Rosa Dewi was the fastest qualifier in lane number 4. So we have a look at the records set by Nguyen Thian Vien, 2:13.53. I can tell you that she's already gone lower than that in her career. Kanita Limdan trying to become only the second Thai winner in this event after Nathanan Jungkrajang in 2011. Zahira Pamatani of Indonesia, the last Indonesian to win this, 1991, Afira Nasution. Phiangkwan Pahapatako of Thailand in lane number 3. She was second in this event in 2013 and 2015. Third in this event in 2011, Ressa Dawi of Indonesia. She's in 4. And here comes the lady who won the Youth Olympic Games gold medal in this event in 2014, Nguyen Thi Vien. She's in lane 5. Kwa Jing-wen, is she going to attack Thi Vien again in the first lap, as she did in the 200 fly? She's in 6. Samantha Yeo will try to pick it up in the breaststroke leg, is in lane 7. And Nadia Reza of Malaysia, who was 8th in this event in 2013, she is in lane number 8. So it's almost a case of all clear the way for the Queen to retain her throne, and the rest fighting for that silver. Or are we going to get a shocker, just as we did in the 200 meters butterfly? The 200 meters individual medley, and Nguyen Thi Vien in Southeast Asia has no peers. I mean, victory in this event for her is as assured as there'll be traffic at this time in Kuala Lumpur. She is so quick and so strong, and this lady has got no weak strokes at all. Every stroke of hers is so very precise and so very good. As we expect, Jingwen has attacked her in the opening 50 meters in the butterfly leg. But can she live with Thi Vien and Thi Vien's favorite stroke, and that is the backstroke coming up next. 0.19 seconds behind Jingwen. Nguyen actually won this event by 5.06 seconds in 2015, the biggest winning margin since Nanik Sawaji of Indonesia beat Juni Sung by 5:39 in 1979. So here she is, slowly taking over, and in her favorite backstroke, taking command of this race already.
She is, again, right, the middle 100 is the most important part of this race. But it's good to see Jingwen swimming closer to the lane rope again, as we spoke about yesterday. I think she's trying to draft off as much as possible of Thi Vien.
She's made up almost a second, in fact just slightly more than a second over Jingwen. Singapore haven't won a gold medal since Jocelyn won the last of her 7 in a row in 2005. Nguyen Thi Vien, look how strong she is as well in the breaststroke. A lot of people don't give her enough credit for it, so says her coach, but she can be a very, very strong breaststroke swimmer. All she needs is just more time and more attention in this event. Look at Samantha Yeo coming up. This is her pet event in the individual medley, the breaststroke leg. We're also looking for a personal best time for her, perhaps 2:18.56 is her personal best. Yet again, Nguyen Thi Vien pulls away. Pahapatako now has caught up and is in second spot, just behind is Ressa Dewi. But this is where Kwa Jing-wen can play catch-up, or can she? She's left it a little bit too late, perhaps gassed out after that 50-meter start in the butterfly. Nguyen Thi Vien, 3 times a gold medalist at the SEA Games. Magnificent by Samantha Yeo, coming back superbly strong right now, just slightly ahead of Ressa Dewi, and in fact she's half a body length ahead, and she probably would win silver. But Thi Vien, gold medal yet again in the 200 IM. Samantha Yeo clinches silver, Ressa Dewi clinches bronze, and Pahapatako, who finished second in the last 2 editions of the SEA Games, manages to get herself out of the podium this time round.
Fantastic swim by Samantha. I bet she's so happy. Look, you look at her. She's got that big grin on her face. I think no one really expected her to come in second and get the silver medal, but kudos to her. She swam a very good breaststroke again. You know, and she really held on in the freestyle. So very good. I think this is her first silver medal. She's gotten bronze in a few events, so this is the first time that she's gotten that. Well done to her.
7 bronze medals and her first ever individual silver medal at the SEA Games, so well done indeed. Well, we all know that this is supposed to be her weaker stroke, Nguyen Thi Vien. But here, she's shown that instead of being the Achilles heel in her IM race, she actually used that to pull away from the rest of the field.
She did. I mean, this is an event that you mentioned that she's been putting a lot more effort into. You know, she's good in the butterfly, she's good in the backstroke, and we know she's good in the freestyle. So breaststroke is her weakest leg of the medley, and you know, we know that this is something that she's put a lot of effort in, and this is what she needs to do, especially if she wants to. I mean, SEA Games is not her fight, right? I mean, what she wants is really to bring it on the Asian level and the world level.
2:14.25, way off her best time. Samantha Yeo, 2:16.85 is her best time, so well done to her, and she needed that in order to clinch silver over Ressa Dewi. 2:17.46 the time for Ressa Dewi. That is also a new Indonesian record. So they've closed the gap on Tien Vien, but they had to break records and break personal bests in order for them to get that close. Have a look at Samantha's time again, if we can, because the national record has been standing for 13 years already. 2:16.86. Just hoping that the graphics actually stayed up for a little longer for us to take a look at that. Well, we're not going to get the result of that again, but we will get our next race pretty shortly. But I can tell you that Sam Yeo has broken Jocelyn Yeo's record. 2:16.85 in the 200 meters individual medley. That's a new national record by 0.01 seconds. So congratulations to Samantha Yeo. A new national record, a record that has stood for 13 years, is now being taken down.
Wonderful swim. I mean, that's so surprised to hear. I mean, we were just talking about this earlier. We thought that maybe she would scratch the 200 individual medley and just focus on the 100-meter breaststroke after this, which is her best event, right? But she got a silver. She broke Jocelyn Yeo's national record. Amazing.
Well, we waited a long time for that record to fall, and finally it has. Only just, but it's also a new record, and Samantha Yeo gets her first national record. She must be pretty chuffed at the moment. Well, the KL crowd have been treated to some very good swims and very close races. We had one of those in the 200 IM. We had a clear winner in the women's version of the 200 IM, and in the next race, I think they will be treated to another close fight. That is the 100 meters backstroke for men. 3 of them going for medals, and 2 of them are Singaporeans. Suratawa of Indonesia and Kwa Tung Wen of Singapore renewing their rivalry again. But will there be a new prince ready to be king in a certain Francis Fong?
Possibly. Francis, his confidence is flying high right now after yesterday's event where he almost beat Chen Wen. He cut more than 3 seconds from his 200 backstroke. He even broke the SEA Games record yesterday when he finished 2 minutes in the 200 backstroke. So, I'm looking forward at Francis as a dark horse. The way that his strokes go, I think it suits his 100 meter a lot better than the 200 meter. So, and given how well he did last night, I won't be surprised if he comes in, he wins the gold medal in today's event, which I hope he does.
Well, the fastest times in Southeast Asia this year in the 100 meters backstroke. Kwa Tung Wen's the only one to have gone below 55 seconds in Southeast Asia. 54.68, which he clocked at the World Championships, in which he missed the semi-finals by a mere 0.17 seconds. And Suratawa clocked a national record this year at the Singapore National Age Group Champs, 55.07. And Francis, at that National Age Group Champs, clocked 55.85. He won the Commonwealth Youth Games with a time of 56.42. So I'm pretty sure it'll be a new personal best from Francis in terms of the 100 meters backstroke. But can Double F turn this into a 3-horse race all the way till the end?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the finalists for the event number 403, men's 100 meters backstroke.
It's an event that Singapore have medalled for 9 games in a row. Gerald himself medalled in this event, 1995.
Yes, I did. But my time now, I'm not even sure whether I'll make the finals.
Last SEA Games, talking about times, last SEA Games was the first time that the top 2 went under 56 seconds at the SEA Games. And I think this time, looking at Francis's form, it might be the first time ever that the top 3 would go under 56 seconds. There he is, the fastest qualifier, who went out pretty quick this morning and then eased up in the final 25. And because of that, he was the only one to have dipped below 58 from the morning heats. Tan Tian Han of Malaysia, who was 5th in this event in 2015, He is in lane number 1. Personal best this year, 56.95. Tran Dui Khoi of Vietnam is in lane number 2, third in 2015. Gade Sudatawa, first in 2011 and 2013, second to Kwa Chung Won in 2015. Then the Commonwealth Youth Games champion, Francis Fong of Singapore, already a silver medalist from yesterday's 200 meters backstroke when he lost to this man. Kwa Chung Won, the red hot favorite, already 2 gold medals in these games. Ricky Anggawijaja of Indonesia in lane number 6. He was third in the 200 back. Kasipat Chokrathin of Thailand, the national record holder, 57.48 seconds that he set at the last SEA Games. And Lim Kyodon of Cambodia, great to see Cambodia in the final. They haven't won a medal in swimming since 1973. 54.51, the SEA Games record in 2015. As I said, both Chung Won and Sudatawa went below 55 for the first time ever. 2 swimmers in the same race at the SEA Games went below that time. And you feel that you need to go below that time in order to get into top 3 reckoning for this final. Sudatawa will be relying on his strong propeller hands. Chung Won his underwaters. And Francis will be relying on that unorthodox stroke for him to push himself through for a surprise win. Lanes 3, 4 and 5, look out for that, and they've started brilliantly almost together at the same time. In fact, Kwa Chung Won has perhaps got the better start, but Sudatawa is coming right back into the picture now. Sudatawa, though, has been working on the fact that he's been gassing out in the final 50 as he'd gone out a little too quickly. Francis Fong still right in the mix. Anggawijaja of Indonesia is right there as well. Sudatawa will turn in first place, just ahead of Chung Won, and then Fong in third place. But this is where Chung Won does most of his work, underwaters, and he in fact is inched slightly ahead of Sudatawa. Sudatawa, though, powering away right now. Francis coming right back into the mix. Igade Sudatawa trying to clinch the double for the first time since 2013 over Kwa Chung Won. Chung Won's got some ground to make up on Sudatawa. Is it too late now for Chung Won? Sudatawa is slowly gassing out. Chung Won's coming right back into this. Kwa Chung Won has got an opportunity. Chung Won and Sudatawa. It's Kwa Chung Won who touches first, just ahead of Sudatawa, and Francis settles for silver or for bronze.
Look at the reaction from Chung Won. Oh, that was an amazing finish. I mean, being a racer means, right, he probably couldn't see Sudatawa there, but the way that he threw his head back, we have always been taught to, when you swim backstroke on the last lap, always throw your head back, right? You want to be able to stretch out as much as possible. And Chung was behind. I mean, he was up to the flag, 2 meters away, he was still behind, but it was his touch where he really threw his head back and stretched out as much as he can to win by 13/100 of a second. Look, Chung was actually pumped up winning the SEA Games, right?
You think this doesn't matter to him? You think it doesn't matter to him? Wow, Kwa Chung Won trailing for so much of this race. After 50 meters he was behind, then he took a slight lead into the final 80, but Sudatawa came right back into it, and at this stage we thought Sudatawa was going to go home, but this is what Sudatawa has said has been his weak point throughout the years. He can't maintain it for the final 50, and this time he almost did until the final 20 when Kwa Chung Won had that one final lunge and punched the wall ahead of Sudatawa. Francis in third spot.
I think Francis had a very good swim as well. You know, it's so easy for Francis. I mean, all he needs to do to improve going forward is just to improve his underwater kicks. You know, we saw right off the start he was almost a body behind Chung Won and Sudatawa. So and he caught up in the swim, the swimming part of the race actually. So going forward, I think the next two years, so long as he focus on that, we could see a new champion in the 100-meter backstroke.
It is not a new SEA Games record for Kwa Chung Won, but it is a new Indonesian record for Sudatawa. The first time he has gone below 55 seconds. And Francis will have to settle for bronze. It's not a new personal best either for Francis, but the future certainly looks bright for him. But still, they can't catch up with Kwa Chung Won. Winner yet again, the defending champion defends. And that takes him to 9 gold medals, tied with one of the best backstrokers Singapore's ever produced, David Lim. Well done, Kwa Chung Won. Welcome back to the Bukit Jalil Aquatic Center as we await the first of two victory ceremonies, which will take place, and they both belong to the individual medley races, and both of them saw Singapore clinching silver medals in Sam Yeo and Pang Shengjin. But we just had a heart-thumping race, didn't we, in the 100 meters backstroke, exactly how we thought it was going to plan out. We did say as well it is going to be a really close race, and boy was that close.
Exactly. You know, we were talking about the three winners. Not sure who would come in tops. You know, obviously with Suratawa winning the 50, Zheng winning the 200, and you know, Francis Fong being the dark horse, right? And you know, the race really came down to three of them. Again, amazing touch for Zheng Wen. That's what a competitor does. You know, he executed his touch perfectly, and you know, that was what really won the race for him.
Well, Singapore and the swimmers who will go after them will be looking at that for a huge dose of inspiration. We still have Joseph Schooling swimming in the 100 meters freestyle, and then both him and Zheng will be anchoring the team for the 4x200 meters freestyle. As we have a look once again at the 200 meters individual medley for men. Gerald, good start here for the Vietnamese Paul Linh Nguyen, and also Triadi Fauzi, especially Linh Nguyen, who went off very, very quickly in the first 100.
He did. You know, I guess that's where his strong strokes are, right? The first two, the fly and the back, and he had to take it out. But again, you know, in the individual medley, I always say the middle 100 is what matters. And we saw that. You know, Triadi taking it out on the backstroke, and then Seungjin taking it out on the breaststroke. You know, it's a pity Seungjin didn't get to the wall first. I mean, he's obviously disappointed, even though it's the best time.
But it was a magnificent last 50 by Pang Shengjin. Let's give him credit for it. It's a new personal best for him. New Indonesian record as well for Triadi. But Pang Shengjin, I mean, after the breaststroke, before the final 50, he was actually in 5th position. The moment he turned off the walls, all of a sudden he was in medal contention. Well, actually he was in the medal podium positions, and then the next thing you know, he just flew in that final 50.
Breaststroke is the leg of the IM where you can make the biggest difference, right? Where you can really catch up on the other swimmers, and that's what he did. You know, I think I was surprised that I didn't see Kitin make a move on that breaststroke leg. He was swimming in lane 1, the defending champion, and the winner for the 200 meter breaststroke. But yeah, Seungjin swam a good race. I don't think he needs to be upset about it. It's the best time, and really what he can look forward to is the 400 individual medley, the longer event that really suits him, his stamina.
Well, talking about the longer distance races, we have the longest of the lots for the women, and that is in the 800 meters freestyle. Singapore have got 2 swimmers in that field. That will be the penultimate event of the night, where we'll see Rachel Singh and Gan Ching Hui. First though, Shengjin to receive a silver medal, his second individual silver at the SEA Games. Triadi Fauzi, first time he has gone below 2:02 in this event. And I think the stars kind of aligned themselves for him, because he didn't really qualify as one of the fastest swimmers. He was in lane number 7 for the finals, but in lane number 7 he actually had the swimmer beside him in lane number 8 that went out very quickly, so he probably got lucky in that lane assignment.
He did. You know, following up Paul out in the first 2 laps, right, and having someone to pace with. And I think it's a little bit fortunate for him as well that, you know, Zheng Wen and Zhou didn't swim this race. You know, it could have been a totally different outcome if both Zhou and Zheng had swam it.
Oh yes, Triadi Fauzi has already finished second to Zhou in 2 events, and he will swim against Zhou again a little later on in the 100 meters freestyle. But for Lionel Koo, his next mission will be tomorrow, when he and his cousin Samuel swim in the 100 meters breaststroke. Finished 5th in the 200 IM, FYI. And Paul Linh Nguyen, string of bronze medals for him already in his first SEA Games for the Vietnamese American. So what has been a very fruitful and memorable debut for him. But for Triadi, it's his first gold medal since 2013. when he won in the 100 meters freestyle for men. That time being the first Southeast Asian to go below 50 seconds, 49.99. So 3 events and 3 medals for Singapore. I should say 4 medals because we're discounting factors. Bronze in the 100 meters backstroke. And one of those 4 medals come in this event.
The medals will be presented by Mr. Harlin Arlianto Raharjo, Vice President of Indonesia Swimming Federation. The mascot and seedling will be presented by Mr. Lee Kok Choi, President of Singapore Swimming Association. Ladies and gentlemen, bronze medalist, Vietnam, represented by Nguyen Pao Ly with a time of 2 minutes 03.39 seconds.
3 medals in 4 events so far. It's not a bad haul indeed for Paul and Nguyen, and they've all been the color bronze.
Silver medalist, Singapore, represented by Pang Cheng Jun with a time of 2 minutes 02.06 seconds.
New personal best then for PSJ. Well done to him indeed. And he swims tomorrow in the 400 meters individual medley. Looking at that lineup that we have for the 400 meters individual medley, perhaps Afla of Indonesia is pretty strong, but he does look pretty solid. And maybe might start that as a red hot favorite, seeing how he chased down the gold medalist.
2 minutes 01.72
Triali Fauzi.
seconds. Indonesia.
4th in this event in 2015, but then over the last couple of years, he's worked so hard to knock down his times. He was 2nd at the Islamic Solidarity Games with the best time in Southeast Asia this year, 2:02.31. Cracked his national record at the 2014 Sea Swim Champs, 2:02.05. And when it matters most, here at the SEA Games, he's gone below 2:02 for that new national record and his 2nd individual gold medal of his SEA Games career.
For the national anthem of Indonesia.
Triadi Fauzi with just Indonesia's second gold medal of these games in swimming.
Presenting the 29th
And they both come from their stalwarts. That 2011 squad, which was supposed to take Southeast Asia by storm, the likes of him, Glenn Victor Sutanto, and Igade Sudatawa. Both him and Sudatawa have won the gold medal here for just their second pip at the top of the victory podium. And for Shingjun, might be a case of too little too late then. As I said, if the pool was extended a further 10 meters, I think those swimmers left to right might be changing positions now. But it bodes well, of course, for the 400 for him. 400 freestyle, where he narrowly missed out on a medal placing. And he narrowly missed out on it again in the 200 meters freestyle, but he makes sure of it in the 200 IM, and tomorrow in the 400 IM. He must be licking his chops right now, and I'm sure his appetite is totally wet for it.
I hope he isn't too disappointed with himself. Obviously, it's tough when you have such a tough loss, and he picks himself up, get ready for tomorrow's 400 individual medley. But we do know that he's swimming in a relay later on, where Singapore is a hot favorite in the 4x200 freestyle relay.
Well, we do say hot favourites, but the Malaysians will have something to say about that, because they also have a very good team. Let's not forget that. They've got Wilson Sim in their squad. I don't know whether Daniel Bago is supposed to swim. In fact, the relay list has just gotten to me, and the Malaysia squad has got Wilson as the first leg swimmer, Yap Cheng Yang as the second leg swimmer, Lim Ching Huang the third leg swimmer, and Keith Lim as the fourth leg swimmer. So Daniel Bago, probably something happened between the heats yesterday and the finals. Probably not feeling 100% because he scratched from the 200 meters freestyle final yesterday, and he is not in the 4x200 meters freestyle relay this evening. Right, the victory ceremony next is the 200 meters individual medley, and it's good news for Singapore in terms of Samantha Louisa Yeo. If you're good friends with her watching this, watch this now. We all know who was going to win the gold medal before they took the blocks. It is this lady from Vietnam, Nguyen Thian Vien. Park Jing-won tried to attack her the same way she did in the 200 meters butterfly. This time though, different strokes over the next 3 laps, and she couldn't live with Nguyen Thian Vien. And by the time the breaststroke came, this is where Samantha Louisa decided to play catch-up. She caught up slowly, surely. Of course, she couldn't catch Tian Vien, but she then goes on to win her first ever individual silver medal. And then, boom, we had a look at the clock. She has taken down Jocelyn Yeo's 13-year-old national record by 0.01 seconds.
I'm not sure which one she's going to be happier about doing, whether she's getting the silver medal or breaking Jocelyn's record. I was thoroughly impressed when you mentioned that fact that she broke Jocelyn's record. I mean, that's stood around for such a long time, and Jocelyn was an amazing individual medley swimmer. Really, no weak stroke for her. So, kudos to Samantha for breaking that record.
She's got another long-standing record to break in the 100 meters breaststroke a little later on as well. That of Nicolette Teo from 2007, 1:10.15, and we've just been told as well, thanks to our producers here, have given us a snippet of the papers that food poisoning has taken its toll on Daniel Bago, and that's the reason why he scratched himself in the final last night, and he still hasn't recovered from it yet in order to swim in the 4x200 meters freestyle relay. It's a huge disappointment, not just for the Malaysian crowd, Gerald, but also for Daniel Bago, because, look, this might be his final SEA Games, and more than anything else, he wanted to swim in front of this partisan crowd.
Yes, it is. Such a pity. Obviously, it would be good to have Daniel in that relay. You want your best swimmers in there. And I'm sure even our Singapore team wants to have Daniel in there, right? They want to say that they won this event with the best of the competitors. So it's really a pity that Daniel Bago is out sick, because he could have made a big difference in that Malaysian relay team.
Singapore, remember, have Danny Yeo starting first, and then Zheng Wen, Sheng Jin, and Joe Schooling to finish things off in the 4x200 meters relay.
doesn't surprise me again that Malaysia is putting their best swimmer first. I think that's the only way that they can keep up with Singapore. We don't have Wilson go out, hopefully give them a lead, and then see if they can hang on with the rest of the other swimmers. Again, Daniel Bago's, I'm assuming Malaysia's second fastest swimmer, given that he swam the individual relay event, right? So again, they're losing their second best swimmer, which is going to be tough to overcome.
And you have a look at it as well, Gerald. I mean, it's a very good ploy by the coach, as you said, to allow Wilson to swim first, because the moment they take the lead, can you imagine how loud this crowd is? And probably it'll cascade down to the swimmers, and they probably might feel that adrenaline to take it home for the next 300 meters or next 3 legs of the 4x2.
Correct. I mean, but you don't want your adrenaline to be taking too much of it, because it's a 200-meter race. It's not a 100-meter race, right? So if you go out too quickly, the second half can be really painful.
Speaking of painful, this lady is pain-free. She always is, and that's the reason why she takes part in so many events. Today she's won her 15th gold medal, 1-5, and we did say it earlier on this morning. Yesterday was the first time since December 13th, 2013 that Nguyen Thi Vien did not win a gold medal in a single day's swimming competition at the SEA Games. Through no fault of hers, it was really the scheduling more than anything else. It was 2 races where she was not supposed to win in, and even then she almost did in the 100 meters freestyle against Kwa Ting Wen. So Southeast Asia's very own Iron Lady now makes it right on day 4 with what could be one of 2 gold medals. She's already swum the 800 meters freestyle, of which she clocked a very quick time for the second time. The finalists to follow later on this evening. And looking at the personal best times of the swimmers who are swimming in the second time finals, I don't think anyone's going to come anywhere close to what Tian Vien clocked this morning. The flags will be flying ever higher in a while for Malaysia, because Fee Jinglen is getting ready to swim the 100 meters breaststroke for women. That will be the next event after the victory ceremony for the 200 IM women's. It's also a dash back to the hall room for Samantha Yeo after receiving her silver medal. What kind of effect, Gerald, do you think it will have for Samantha? I mean, this is probably one of her proudest moments in her career, getting that national record, winning a silver medal for the first time at the SEA Games in an individual event. Will that have a spurring effect for her next race, or will there be a calm down after it because you have been so excited? What kind of effect will it have for Samantha?
I think it's going to spur her on. I mean, she's probably so pumped right now. She's so happy with her first silver medal, with that national record. Not just any national record, but won by Jocelyn Yeo. You know, the next race is a 100-meter breaststroke. It's pretty much a sprint, so I'm sure her adrenaline's going. She's so happy. You know, we could see her do another best time.
Yeah, she really knocked down her best time in this event, that's for sure. 2:16.85 is her new time. She's knocked it down by almost, in fact, more than a second and a half from her previous personal best.
President of Singapore Swimming Association. Ladies and gentlemen, bronze medalist, Indonesia.
Ressa Dewi repeats her bronze medal performance of 2011.
Tanya Dewi, with a time of 2 minutes 17.46 seconds.
The time that you just heard from the announcer is also a new Indonesian record for Ressa Dewi, lowering her previous personal best, which was set this year at the Singapore National Swim Champs. So well done to Ressa.
Ladies and gentlemen, silver medalist, Singapore. Represented by Samantha Louisa Jinyo with a time of 2 minutes 16.85 seconds.
And a new national record. That new national record taking down a 13-year-old mark by Jocelyn Yeo by 0.01 seconds. Only just, but we know it. when you look at the history books, it will not show it, because it will show the name of Samantha Louisa Yeo
And ladies and
besides
gentlemen,
the words
gold
200 meters
medalist
individual medley
and
when you look
SEA
through
Games
the record
champion
books for Singapore.
with a time of 2 minutes 14.25 seconds, Vietnam, represented by Wendy Arvin.
So our medal count for Nguyen Thi Vien continues. Vietnam, as a country, have won 28 gold medals. Nguyen Thi Vien has won 15. We almost have to do our own Nguyen Thi Vien as a country count as well, because if Nguyen Thi Vien was a country, she would have won more gold medals than Myanmar already in swimming. Amazing achievement, 15 gold medals for her now.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting to you the
Three-time champion Nguyen Thi Vien in the women's 200 meters individual medley. The first to win 3 in a row since 2005. Jocelyn, remember, winning 7 in a row. Failed to go below 2:13 though. Just missed out on the world champs in this event by 0.33 seconds. And her next stop will be Jakarta, because she wants to medal in both IM events at the Asian Games. But you look at the Asian swimmers for that event at the Asian Games, you would know as well, if the likes of Ye Shu-wen decides to compete all over again, she would have a lot on her hands in order to get into medal placings. But it's well done to Sam Yeo. We're so very happy for her with that national record, and remember, she's got to go back soon enough for the 100 meters breaststroke, where she has an opportunity to take down another long-standing national record, belonging this time to Nicolette Teo.
Đó có phải là do áp lực hay không? Tại vì riêng anh cảm nhận là em vẫn còn rất là nhiều áp lực khi mà xuống hồ bơi.
Áp lực
như vậy thì em còn các cái nội dung tiếp theo, còn khoảng 5 nội dung nữa theo tính toán em.
target untuk
the sights and sounds of KL to the smiles in the Bukit Jalil Aquatic Center. This is the 29th Southeast Asian Games. 3 events down and dusted on day number 4. Singapore medaling in all of them. 2 silvers in the individual medley for men's and women's, and a gold and a bronze in the 100 meters backstroke. The victory ceremony of the 100 back will come in no time. But first it'll be the women's taking part in the 100 meters breaststroke, as Tian Tian once again doesn't have another event, I believe, to swim the rest of the night, but she is sprinting to get herself to the warm-up pool as soon as possible. After this, there is the men's 100 meters freestyle, featuring Olympic semi-finalist Joe Schooling in his final individual event of these games. Then the 800 meters freestyle for women, leading up to what might be a bumper race of the night. Causeway rivalry between Singapore and Malaysia in the 800 meters freestyle relay. Brother and sister shots of Kwa Jingwen and Kwa Jungwen. Warming down after their exertions the first couple of races. Looking at the 4x200 meters freestyle lineup, Gerald, Danny going first, and we're not surprised by it because he doesn't have an event today. Jungwen actually swam after Shingjin. Are you surprised that he's going second ahead of Shingjin? Obviously, I mean, Joe, they're putting it last because he'll be swimming in the 100 meters freestyle race 2 events before the 4x2. So you were surprised by that order of Jungwen ahead of Shingjin?
No, not really. I think what they wanted to do is have Zheng go second and hopefully to build a little bit of a lead for PSG going in as 3rd place. It gives a little bit more time for PSG to get some rest in there as well, because he swam the 200 IM, whereas Zheng only swam the 100 back. Yes, he swam it later, the 100 back, but it's only 100 meter compared to what PSG had to do earlier in the 200 IM.
Danny Yeo swam a personal best yesterday, 1:48.98. Kwa Jungwen has got a personal best of 1:49.17. Shingjin 1:51.22 yesterday. Joe, of course, has got a personal best of 1:47.79, which is the national record, but that was clocked a couple of years ago. The 200 races and the fly and free being something that has been in the back burners for Joe Schooling for the last couple of years in his pursuit of Olympic and worldwide glory. But the 4 of them, Yo, Kwa, Pang and Schooling, for them it's the 3rd games in a row that Singapore have kept the same squad. There's a little bit of continuity there as we have a look at the women's 100 meters breaststroke, all set and ready to go, featuring Christy May Chu, who will lead the teams off, and the swimmers in lane number 1. Sam Yeo's in lane 5, having qualified as the 2nd fastest swimmer from the morning heats, where the only swimmer to go below 1:11 was Fee Jing Eun of Malaysia, the defending champion and red-hot favorite to win this race. There she is, just having a little peek, and behind Christy May Chu, Erica Kong now stepping out. So we're ready to go with an event that Malaysia have won in the last 4 editions. After winning only 3 in the first 23, they have totally dominated. And they're hoping that Fee Jing Eun will make them the first country to win this 5 in a row. Thailand won it 4 in a row from the years 1985 to 1991. But no country has won it 5 on the spin until maybe tonight. Christy May Chu in lane 1, trying to become only the 5th Singaporean to win this after Kong Yulan, Justina Singh, Jocelyn Yeo and Nicolette Teo. Erica Kong of Malaysia, who was first in the ASEAN University Games last year, she's in lane 2. Anandia Ivato, what a great year it has been for her. Don't be surprised, the national record holder of Indonesia comes in not just amongst the reckoning, but also challenges this lady right to the end. Fee Jing Eun of Malaysia, a red-hot favorite, her personal best and Malaysian record, 1:08.65. Samantha Year of Singapore, remember she's got Nicolette Teo's record in her sights, 1:10.15, her personal best 1:10.49. Phiang Kan Palpatako of Thailand in lane number 6. She was third in this event in 2013. And silver in 2013 and third in 2011. Shabanuj Salutloik of Thailand is in lane 7. The last Thai to win this was Sombanan Pipicic in 1991. Felicia Angelica of Indonesia trying to become the first Indonesian to win this event since 1981 when Nanik Sawaji triumphed for the red and whites. Xiao Yiting's record 109.82, remember, has already been beaten by Jingwen in terms of clinching that Malaysian record. Jingwen second in the 50 meters breaststroke, hoping to make it 2 in a row victories in this. So Christy May Chu in 1 for Singapore, Erica Kong in 2 for Malaysia, Anandia Ivato of Indonesia in 3, Jingwen of Malaysia in 4, Samantha Yeo of Singapore in 5, Kiang Kwan of Thailand in 6, Salop Boik of Thailand in 7, and Felicia Angelica of Indonesia in lane number 8. She usually takes it out very quickly, and Samantha Yeo decided to follow Fee Jing Eun for the first half of this race.
Good start by the two Singapore girls in lane 1 as well. Christy and Samantha both had great starts. They came out on top, but now the Malaysian girl Jing Eun has really taken on her stride. Not surprisingly, turning first.
So those two Singaporean girls just behind Fee Jing Eun. Fee Jing Eun is a very aggressive breaststroke swimmer, but Samantha Yeo is living with her at the moment, side by side with Jing Eun. Samantha has come into these SEA Games in fine fettle and fine form. Can she keep this up, having already swum in the individual medley earlier on? Fee Jing Eun has got a lot of work to do to defend a crown that she won in 2015, because Samantha Yeo is not giving up the cause. She's not too far behind the Malaysian and SEA Games defending champion. Fee Jing Eun still slightly ahead of Samantha, and she will keep this lead, and she will keep the gold medal that she won in 2015. Samantha Yeo just 0.44 seconds behind, and Ivato, who swum some of the best times this year of Indonesia, wins 3rd place.
Another great swim by Samantha. I mean, that was quite surprising given that she does swim a 200 individual medley. Could have been different if she had skipped the 200 IM, right? And this was her first race. But two very, very good swims from Samantha.
Almost the first to go below 109 at the SEA Games. 109.00. That's a new SEA Games record for Fee Jing Eun. And if the times are correct, Samantha Yeo has broken another long-standing national record. Nicolette Teo's record has stood for 10 years. But I believe Samantha Yeo has broken her record. We'll have a look at confirmation of the times. Nicolette Teo's record is 1:10.15. That's the way that both girls swam and went at it. I think Samantha's broken another long-standing national record.
I think she's going to be the MVP for me for the night. Even though she didn't win a gold medal, two amazing swims coming into today. I mean, she's never come in second. She's never received a silver medal in any of her SEA Games event, and winning 2 today, both breaking long national records. Just wonderful for her.
So Fee Jing Eun of Malaysia, 109.00. Not a new national record, mind you. She's gone below 109 before, but good enough for the goal. And I think she was totally going into it and breaking that SEA Games record because she was chased all the way. We expected this to be a one-horse race. We didn't expect this to be this close. But thanks to Samantha, she ensured that the fires and the sparks were coming out of Fee Jing Eun heading into the final stretch. She's delighted with the fact that she's broken that record, and Sam Yeo is absolutely delighted. How about that? 2 races today, 2 silver medals, her first 2 ever individual silver medals, and 2 national records. One was 13 years old, which she took down, and the other 10 years of age. But this lady has already owned the Malaysian national record, and now she owns the SEA Games record. Fee Jing Eun of Malaysia, 2-time winner in this event, and Malaysia have won it 5 in a row, becoming the first country to do so. 109.44. Samantha Yeo becomes the first Singaporean to dip below 110.
What a great shot of her there, being so emotional.
Amanda Ivato of Indonesia, 110.82. Just short of her national record, and a good swim as well from Christy just out of medals though for her. But what a race that one was, and it certainly has got the crowd going, because Malaysia have won gold for the first time tonight. The men's 100 meters freestyle, Joseph Schooling, a hot favorite in this race, but he might be chased by Huang Ki-Fok, who did not look too good on the first day, but the Olympic semi-finalists would have competition from the Vietnamese, who has clocked some insane times in 2017, including a 49.03 national record, which he set in Hungary. Ki-Fok has got the 6th fastest time in Asia this year, so it's not going to be easy pickings for Joe as it was in the butterfly races. But for Joe Schooling, he is a premier racer. Put a challenge on him and he'll take it on any day. He's been this way since he was a young kid, and it hasn't changed even leading up to the 2017 SEA Games. Raymond Lukman of Indonesia is in 1 as we have a look at Joe trying to become the first back-to-back winner in this event in 7 SEA Games. The last was Richard Sambera back in 2001 in this pool. Raymond Lukman qualified with a PB of 51.94 into the final, and so too did Ngo Dinh Truyen of Vietnam. 51.47 is a PB for him. Darren Lim of Singapore, another one of the swimmers, one of 3 in the field to have dipped below 50 seconds this year. He is in lane number 3. The Olympic semi-finalist, the national record holder of Singapore, 48.27, one of 7 national records he holds, is in lane 4, the only one to dip below 50 seconds in the heats this morning. Huang Ki-Fok of Vietnam, who finished 2nd to Wilson yesterday in the 200 meters freestyle, is in 5. Keith Lim of Malaysia in lane number 6. Daniel Bago and Alan Ong, the only 2 Malaysians to have won this event. Andrew Newling of Thailand. The Thais have never had a swimmer who have won the 100 meters freestyle before in the SEA Games. And Triadi Fauzi has scratched from this, allowing Chantia of Malaysia to take part in the finals. The SEA Games record 48.58. Last time out was the first time 2 swimmers dipped below 50 seconds in a single race at the Games.
Thank you.
And this time we might see for the very first time 3 to go below 50 for the medal placings. Joseph Isaac Schooling going for his very own 14th, and he has rocketed off the starting blocks as we expected. Darren Lim has followed him. Huang Ki-Fok trying to live in his status well in the first 50 meters. Joseph Schooling has gotten off to a flyer of a start. Ki-Fok is coming back slowly now, and Joe Schooling, who will turn slightly in first place ahead of the Vietnamese, and then Darren Lim in 3rd place, off the boards once again, off the walls, bouncing off it. Joe Schooling is so very hot, but Huang Ki-Fok is catching up now on Joe. Joe Schooling might be beaten here, but then again, if he looks to his right as he's breathing now, he knows that he's got competition, so he starts pulling away from Ki-Fok. Ki-Fok tries to live with him, but I think Ki-Fok might have just gassed out. Joe Schooling, it's his to lose. Schooling still slightly ahead of Ki-Fok. Schooling will win it, just ahead of Ki-Fok by 0.38 seconds, and Darren Lim in 3rd place. My goodness, that race was close, but Joe Schooling, the moment he knew he had competition, that was when he went up a couple of gears.
I think Schooling, what we have seen in both his races, 100-meter races, the 100-meter butterfly and the 100-meter freestyle, is he's taken a different approach to it. I think it's because he's not really on his A game during this SEA Games. What he's done is he's actually taken it out a little bit slower in the first 50, and then he's really come back home really hard on the second 50. You know, we're really used to seeing Joe do it the other way around. Like at the Olympics, I mean, he was way ahead in the first 50, and even during the 100-meter freestyle when he qualified for the semi-finals in the Olympics, he was out a lot quicker.
And yet again, at these games, a race by Joe Schooling was won from the start, that plunge and the turn. Those are the bread and butter moments for him.
Yeah, you see, I mean, from the start and from the turn, both the underwaters, you saw Joe take a much deeper push than most of the competitors do. And again, it just works in his favor, given how strong his underwater kicks are.
You have to give credit to the Vietnamese as well, Huang Ki-Fok, because after looking off color in the first day of competition, missing out on 2 finals, he's come back strong. Yesterday, finishing second in the 200 meters freestyle and now finishing second to Joe. He has come back very strongly and pushed Joe all the way in this event, almost taking down an Olympic champion and having a story to tell. And Joseph definitely giving a pat on the head and says, wow, you gave me something to think about for a while there. Well, it won't be the first time that three swimmers dip below 50 seconds. Darren Lim failed to do that, 50.56, but good enough for a bronze medal for him. Wang Ki-fok, 49.31, not his personal best time either. Neither is it for Joe Schooling, who dips below 48 seconds yet again at the SEA Games. There have only been 2 swims below 49 seconds at the SEA Games, and both have belonged to the same person, Joseph Isaac Schooling. It has been breathless so far, because the races have been pretty close. And we'll have more of that in the 4x200 meters freestyle, which comes after the 800 free for women's. The Malaysians have already got their gold medal tonight. Singapore have got a couple, 3 in fact, well 2 in fact, one of them coming from Joe Schooling, who will now join up with his teammates Danny Zhengwen and Sheng Jin for the 4x200 meters freestyle relay, where the Malaysians have a certain Wilson Sim trying to lead their team off to a fiery start. Oh, that was pretty close for Joe. The closest race, at least, that he has been a part of in the SEA Games thus far.
It has, but I think he was really expecting that. And what we'll see Joe do right now, I mean, we won't see him, but what we don't see is that he'll go back to the warm-up pool and probably warm down for the next 20, 30 laps. So that's 1,500 to 2K, right? That's to warm down and get ready for the relay.
100 meters of backstroke for men's victory ceremony is upcoming, and that's another. Both of Singapore's golden boys of swimming actually have been put in very close races today. We'll have a look at Zhengwen's race now, the 100 meters backstroke all over again, because this one was almost Sudatawa's, almost until the final 20 meters. After the turn, it was Sudatawa's to lose, but lose he did only because Zhengwen just found that extra gear in him that only swimmers and racers who have that refuse to give up and lose spirit in them, an undying spirit in them. He is one of a few in this region to have it, and he needed it in this race. So a repeat of this again, this is what it meant to him, because for a long while we thought Sudatawa would beat him twice at these games. Not the second time, I'm sorry, my man. So are they up for it? That was a question that was on a lot of people's minds that were trolling in Singapore, whether being a part of the World Championships, being a part of the Olympic Games and what they've achieved, semi-finals of the Olympics, gold medal at the Olympics, whether the SEA Games still a good enough or big enough competition for them. I guess Kwa Zhengwen showed it with that celebration, how much it meant for him to take down Indonesia's #1 backstroke sprinter. So this was the race that gave Zheng Wen the gold medal. A gold medal that we never thought was coming after 80 meters of the 100 back.
I want to say 95 meters. It was, so that, look at it. That's the 75-meter mark, and still it's basically the last 5 meters and really down to the last touch, right? Again, that's what we call experience. Zheng knows what to do when he gets to such a close race. I mean, obviously he could not see where Suda Tower was at this point in time, but just going through the motions, knowing what he needs to do to have a perfect touch, throwing the head back, stretching as much as possible, and he did that. He's practiced that 1,000 times, right? And he just focused on that, and great touch to win the race.
I mean, whenever races go that close, as we saw yesterday as well in the 100 meters freestyle, which featured Zheng Wen's sister Ting Wen when she won by 0.01 seconds, you're always reminded of that Phelps race against Kovic at the 2008 Olympics, where he won because he slammed the wall. And that's what they were saying, that usually there is a device on the wall where if you slam it as hard as possible and punch it almost, and it triggers it faster than someone who touches it. And I guess that's the experience you were talking about there, Gerald. Zheng Wen using the momentum to take him as forceful as possible onto the wall.
That's one of the first things that swimmers we have to learn, right? Never ever glide into the wall. And I hope this SEA Games really serves as a reminder to all swimmers out there. I mean, all growing swimmers out there, that we have seen so many close races. It's really come down to a touch. Always practice your finishers. Never glide in, and that's shown for you here in today's so many races at the SEA Games.
Well, Francis looked befuddled and puzzled for a while because the announcement was for Suda Tawa to win the bronze, and he was saying, did I get an upgrade? Because I would accept it. It's not an upgrade, but he will leave these games with a silver and a bronze. So this event, which won him a gold medal at the Commonwealth Youth Games, it's not a personal best for him for this finals, but he will leave these games with special memories and 2 precious medals for him to take for his future swimming endeavors.
Rising star, I think Francis Fong, watch out for him. I say he's going to really make an impact at the next SEA Games, possibly even at next Asian Games.
Well, this guy is eyeing the Asian Games because it's swum in front of his home fans in Indonesia. Silver medal, just as it was in 2015, to go with 2 gold medals that he's won in the 100 meters backstroke already for Igade Simansuda Tawa. And this time, it came with a national record as well. For the first time, he's dipped below 55 seconds. Still not good enough for the goal, which is kept by Hua Zheng Wen. All thanks to a storming finish. It's well and dandy with the 200 meters butterfly with what he did, winning by big margins, but once in a while you need your feathers ruffled, and once in a while you need to show the world that you have that in you as well. It's one thing to win easily, it's another thing to know how to win, and tonight he showed the latter.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem of Singapore.
Kwa Tung-wen with Singapore's 12th gold medal at these SEA Games. Sudatawa with Indonesia's 420th medal in their swimming history. And I can tell you with Joe's gold medal, Singapore have reached 740 medals in swimming alone. And they keep churning them out. Tung-wen is an event that at the World Championships he missed out narrowly on qualifying for the semi-finals. And I remember his SEA Games career started with victory in the 400 races, freestyle, the individual medleys. Now he's trimmed it down and streamlined it a little bit. He used to take part in so many events. Last year, of course, 2015, he was the most medaled swimmer. He used to take part in so many events, but now he streamlined it down and concentrated on a few, which is the 200 fly. This event's the 100 back and the 200 back. Do you think it's a better ploy to be streamlining it the way he has?
Yeah, I think so. Naturally, as you get older, it takes you a longer time to recover in between races as well, right? So the 400 IM, for example, that's the race that he first won his gold medal. It's tough to recover after a 400 IM, but I think even when he did that, I mean, he swam a few races every day out of this 6-day schedule. It's not easy. So I think it makes sense for him to really narrow it down, focus more on the shorter events, and win golds rather than silver and bronzes, which probably don't mean anything to him at this point of his career.
Well, even if it doesn't mean anything to him, I can tell you that that gold medal for Kwa Tung-wen takes him to 9 gold medals, tied with David Lim. So it's pretty appropriate that he won it on the backstroke. Tied with David Lim on the all-time list, and he's now 1 medal shy of Tan Tuan Heng for the most medal male swimmer from Singapore at the SEA Games. He has tied Tan Tuan Heng for the most medaled swimmer at the SEA Games. That was his 19th individual medal. The victory ceremony for the women's 100 meters breaststroke upcoming, and let's have a look at this race now. Gerald was a Fijian who got off to a very strong start, but Samantha Yeo just kept pace with her, isn't it? She just watched her arrival and just chased her all the way. There was no giving up in her at all.
I think it surprised both of us in this broadcast booth that she was as close, right? We thought that Jing En would just run away with this event, but we saw that Samantha really come back hard in the last 25 as well, and we thought at one point that she might overtake Jing En even.
Jing En, in fact, in that final 25 meters, perhaps she was cognizant of the fact that Samantha was that close to her. You could see her actually getting more aggressive and shortening her stroke cycles a lot more heading into the wall. That's the reason why she's got that SEA Games record now. But all of a sudden, I mean, she's always been a very aggressive breaststroke swimmer, but had note of the final 25, where even the cycles were getting shorter and getting up not as high in the water as she would perhaps in the 200 race and heading to the wall. That was all due to Samantha chasing her. Samantha chased after a national record, she's got it. Jing En chased after the gold medal, she's got it. So I guess everyone's happy here at the 100 meters breaststroke for women.
I think Christy had a good swim too. I mean, she was out in lane 1 swimming on her own. She turned well. I think she turned in 3rd place and ultimately came in 4th. I mean, she's only 17 years old, first SEA Games, so she's got a lot ahead of her.
She's already got a gold medal, doesn't she, from the SEA Games swimming last night at the 4x200 meters relay. So another one who will take very good memories with her from these games. Well, we'll await. I don't think they'll be showing results of the women's 100 meters breaststroke again, but I'd love to look at the time for Christy May Chu to see whether she has clocked a personal best. 1:11.77 was her previous personal best. And remember, she was just out of a medal reckoning, finishing in 4th spot.
Ladies and gentlemen, the victory ceremony for women's 100 meters breaststroke. Please welcome to the podium the medalists.
Samantha Yeo's recovered from that emotional outburst after the race to put on her biggest smile, because tonight alone, I mean, she's had so many nights in the SEA Games, but tonight alone she will remember for the rest of her life.
She's my MVP for the night, hands down. Winning winning 2 silver medals. We've got Zheng, we've got Zhou winning gold medals, but to me, she's had the outstanding performances for tonight. 2 amazing races, breaking very long records by Jocelyn and Nicolette Zhou.
Now, this lady has broken a SEA Games record, and how as well. She's lowered the record by 0.82 seconds in a short race. That is an amazing feat. And we did say as well from the start, the moment Xiao Yiting decided to leave the sport, Malaysia, she said, we're in good hands. We wanted to know why. And Christina Low came about and won this race. And then in 2015, Yiting herself named that lady, Fi Jing-en, as the next to look out for. Now, if you're a SEA Games multiple gold medalist like Xiao Yiting, when you say that, you know that Fi Jing-en was going to be special, and she has been over the last 2 years in this region. But this year has been a wonderful one for Anandia Ivato of Indonesia. In fact, when she swam at the Singapore Championships in the national age group and the national swimming champs, she won them both, to already signal that she was going to be one of those who are termed dark horses in this race. I can tell you that Christy May Chu has also clocked a personal best in finishing 4th. 1:11.01 is her new personal best. But this lady is now the new national record holder in this event for Singapore, and the first Singaporean to dip below 1:10 with her silver medal performance. Take a bow, Samantha Louisa Yeo, you deserve it. Most of her swims this year came at the Canadian trials. Just moving out of your comfort zone has given her an extra competitive edge, which she has brought to Kuala Lumpur. But all of Kuala Lumpur are roaring because it's their first gold medal of the night. And it belongs to a lady who finished second in the 50 meters breaststroke. But here, no peers. Defending champion defends, and she's got a lot of family and friends coming from Selangor, not too far away from this venue, who've come to the stadium to watch her clinch her second individual gold medal of her fledgling SEA Games career. Fi Jing-en, gold medalist and SEA Games record holder of the 100 meters breaststroke for women.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem of Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the 1 Games medley for women's 100-meter breaststroke.
Fi Jing-en, as I said, it's a SEA Games record 109, but it's not her personal best time because she can go lower. She owns the Malaysian national record of 108.65. She is quick, and she has delivered in quick fire time in front of her fans, which was exactly what she wanted when she won it in 2015. She was saying that was just the appetizer for the main course, and tonight was the main course, and that swim was as delicious as you get. It's the last swim of the night for all three ladies, so milk it as much as possible.
I'm not sure Samantha's going to get any sleep tonight. We should be so excited thinking about her races and what she's accomplished just this evening alone.
She shouldn't check her phone now. 105 WhatsApp messages at least. That's what happens when she opens it up. They might even start a Samantha is great group chats for all you know. Samantha's a national record holder group chat because she's not just a record holder, she's a double record holder tonight within the space of 20 minutes. Could you believe?
And breaking national records that have been around for a decade.
Yeah, that's right. Combined 24 years, of course. One of them 14 years, the other one 10 years. Welcome back as we see lovely image of the Singapore flag reflected in the pool here today, and it's a very appropriate picture because that has been the dominant nation in the swimming events. Joe's gold medal makes it lucky number 13 for Singapore at the Bukit Jalil Aquatic Centre. Remember I said at the start of the broadcast, the biggest away haul in terms of gold medal, 1975 and 2011 when they won 17. So break that record and it would be a very productive outing for Singapore, whose swimmers need as much of an energy boost as that young lady was when it comes to the 4x200 meters freestyle relay in a while. But first, women with the longest race in the swimming schedule, the 800 meters freestyle, which took place earlier this morning, and we already have a marker laid down by Nguyen Thian Vien with a time of 8:35.55. It's a race where Singapore have had winners in Lynette Lim, Junie Sung, as we have a look now at the morning timed final by Nguyen Thian Vien. Took it out very quickly and maintained the pace, actually, to give credit to her, swimming almost all by herself in this field of three. 8:35.55 was a mighty good time for a lady who's clocked 8:34.85, and that morning time clocked by her is the third fastest swim in SEA Games history. Only herself in 2015 and Lynette Lim in 2009 have gone faster than the time of 8:35.55. So she went out quick, and Gerald's actually noticing this race as well. I don't think anyone in the field can actually match what she did in the morning.
I really doubt it. She was holding about 32, 33 seconds per lap. And looking at the seat time, it seems like the next closest competitor is going to be about 8:50, whereas she finished at 8:35.
For your information,
So she is in the warm-up pool now, warming down after her race this evening, not this morning but this evening, the 200 meters individual medley, and she might be called into the call room to receive another gold medal. These swimmers will be chasing after not just that time, but also the time that was posted by Nicole Oliver, which is 8:59.67. Natanan Junkrajang having a very nice moment with Rachel Singh of Singapore, joined by Amiga Himatongkom of Thailand for the time final number 2. And it's very much a downer, isn't it? Especially for those in the stadium who don't know what happened in the morning and the time that was posted by Nguyen Thian Vien. I think she did not have a time posted coming into this event, and that's the reason why she was put in the supposedly slower final in the morning.
Yeah, that's the reason why. And I'm not sure why that happened, but that's what we've seen, not just with her, but basically all the Vietnamese swimmers. They've all submitted no times, and in the heats, they're basically swimming in the slower lane, slower heats. So it's a pity, I mean, that the audience doesn't get to watch her swim this 800 meter, where she almost broke the SEA Games record. She may have broken it if she had swum it this afternoon with better competition and with the audience cheering her on.
And I did check as well, Gerald, if she wins it, it will be the first ever SEA Games gold medal given out to someone who swam in the morning in this event. So when she goes up to the podium, there will be some curious faces in the crowd to say, I didn't see her at all. How did she get the gold medal? So the swimmers come out for the 800 meters freestyle for women. And the penultimate race of day 4 of competition. Resa Dewi, already a bronze medalist in the 200 individual medley earlier. Lane 1 is Rosalie Santa Ana of the Philippines, who did not qualify for the 200 fly final. Amiga Himatongkom of Thailand, already second in the 400 meters freestyle. She's in 2. Rachel Singh, who finished 5th in the 400 freestyle. And then Natanan Junkrajang, who was second in this event in 2011. There hasn't been a Thai winner since 2003, when Pailin Takachitananan won the gold medal. Gan Ching Wee, who was 7th in the 400 freestyle, is in 5. Resa Dewi in 6 of Indonesia. The Indonesian record holder, Raina Saumi of Indonesia, is in 7. She clocked the national record by finishing 2nd at the 2016 ASEAN University Games. And Angela Cheng of Malaysia is in lane number 8. So remember the time to beat, 8:35.55. So remember the lane assignment again. Rosalie Santa Ana of the Philippines in lane number 1. She was 6th in this event in 2015. No Filipinas have ever medaled in this event in the SEA Games. And she's got Nicole Oliver's morning time of 8:59.67 to beat. Lane 2, Amiga Himatongkom of Thailand. 3rd at the ASEAN University Games, 3rd at the Singapore Nationals, and 2nd at the Malaysian Open. Lane 3, Rachel Singh of Singapore, who haven't won a gold medal since Lynette won it in 2009. Her personal best 9:01.20 this year, and she finished 1st at the Singapore National Age Groups. Natanan Jongkrajang, who is in the lead from Thailand, the experienced head in the field, and a lady who finished 2nd in this race in 2011. She was silver at the last 3 editions as well. She's in lane 4. Gan Ching Hui of Singapore in 5. She won the Singapore Nationals with a personal best of 8:53.13, which was the fastest this year till Tian Vien posted this morning's time. Risa Dewi of Indonesia in 6, 8:56.53, her personal best at the Singapore Nationals, and finishing 2nd to Ching Hui of Singapore. Reina Sami of Indonesia in 7, of course. She was 3rd in this event in 2011 and the Indonesian record holder. And Angela Cheng of Malaysia in lane number 8 from Sarawak. I don't know what's in the water in Sarawak, Gerald, but they do produce very, very good swimmers, from Daniel Bago and then Wilson Sim, of course. And then this lady, I mean, she's not in the same league, don't get me wrong, but still, they do produce very good swimmers from that region.
They do, yeah, definitely. Wilson obviously is the current one that's, you know, everyone thinks of when you think about Sarawak swimmers. So like we're looking at Jongkrajang right now. I mean, we were just looking at her age. I mean, she's 31 years old, which makes her the oldest in the field. She's actually double Ching Hui, who's on lane 5, right? Ching Hui is only 14 years old.
Well, it's an event usually for the younger swimmers, isn't it? The 800, the 1500. I mean, you look at the likes of Casey Ledecky, who is probably the best ever in terms of long distance swimming around the world. She was such a young girl, just 15 when she first won her Olympic title. And the older you get, the shorter the distances usually.
Yes, usually that's the case. I mean, I guess after a while, you get tired of, you know, training, doing the long distance. It's not just the race itself, but the training. I mean, to train for 1,005 for an 800-meter race, it's not easy. I mean, and when you look over the pool, especially, like, you know, I used to swim distance, and, you know, I always wanted to join the sprinters where they'll be messing around in the 15-meter pool doing sprints, whereas, you know, training for the distance, you're going like 10 times 400 and much longer, much more boring sets.
Well, the 2 Thai ladies lead the field as Natanan Jongkrajang, using her experience to go slightly ahead of Amiga Himatongkom, and then Singapore at the moment in 3rd and 4th. But remember, this will not be the final results, because we have to combine it with what happened in the morning. 0.014 seconds, the difference between Himatongkom and Jongkrajang, and Rachel Singh turning in 3rd spot, just ahead of compatriot Gan Ching Hui.
I think there's already like a 4-second difference from this morning versus Tian Van's time at this 300-meter mark.
Natanan Jongkrajang has stated that this will be her final SEA Games in terms of indoor swimming, but she might be interested in the open water swimming if it happens in Manila, as it did here in Malaysia. Her teammate, who was a silver medalist at the last Games, Benjapan Srivamonton, actually took part in open water swimming this year instead of defending her silver title from 2015 in this event. And it's Himatongkom who's just slightly ahead of Natanan. Both of them have trained together over the last couple of years in Bangkok, and I'm sure know each other well enough in terms of pacing and what they're supposed to be doing. And they don't have Tian Vien in front of them to chase either. So it's Himatongkom who's taken the lead over Jongkrajang. Rachel still maintains her 3rd position, and Gan Chen Hui maintains her 4th position. And it's the swimmers outside Ching Hui, Risa Dewi and Reina Salmi, the two Indonesians who almost turn at the same time. Chung Krajang going at around about 85 strokes per minute. All of them, of course, always wanted to ask this, Gerald, when it comes to the long distance races, whether it's the 800 or 1500 meters freestyle, when do you start changing that 2-beat kick into a 4 or a 6-beat kick, or do you ever engage a 6-beat kick?
I think the last 50. That's the only time you want to do it. I mean, everyone has got different strokes, different strategies. You know, some people like to go out hard. Like for example, Grant Hackett. You know, he used to go out really quickly on the first 100 and basically just try and hang on, which he did very well, right? He's got a lot of easy speed, and that's why he could go out quick for the first 100, first 200, and then hang on for the next 1,300 meters, which was very easy. And then you've got some other swimmers, maybe like Sun Yang, or you know, some of the other swimmers where they tend to like to hold back a little bit and then go fast, negative split, the longer distance, where they split quicker in the second half than they do in the first half.
Well, the swimmers are definitely using that 2-beat kick for the moment, as Hima Thongkom leads over Chung Krajang, and Kan Ching Hui now slowly closing the gap on Rachel Singh. In fact, the Indonesian Reina Salmi has also closed the gap on the two Singaporeans for third spot for this timed final. And they need to get their skates on in order to catch the tie, because if they're not going to lose to the two ties, most likely they're going to be out of those medal positions, having seen what Tian Vien has done this morning. Hima Thongkom, already silver medalist in the 400 meters freestyle at these games to Nguyen Tian Vien, turns in first place and looks hot favorite to win that silver medal ahead of Chung Krajang. And here comes the swimmers turning together almost at the same time. Rachel just slightly ahead of Raina and Ching Hui. Very quick stroke rates by Amiga Hima Thongkom, using a lot of upper body strength in the early part of this race from her.
Yeah, she's quickened up her pace a little bit, because I think we've only got 150 meters more, so that pretty much answers your question, Mark. You know, when do you start picking it up? And they've only got 3 more laps to go, so you see her quicken up her strokes, quickening up her kicks as well. But looking at the splits right now, they're just fighting for second place.
You're absolutely right. 8:35.55. I don't think any of them would even break 8:50, the rate they're going at the moment. 8:50, sub 8:50. Only 4 swimmers have summits in the history of the SEA Games. Hima Thongkom gets the bell and heads home, hoping to go below the national record of 8:43. That's going to be very hard to beat, though, as Natanan Chung Krajang tries to make it a 2-3 finish for Thailand, because Nguyen Tian Vien is definitely going to keep her crown that she won in 2015 rather easily, and she didn't even have to swim in the evening race for that. Singapore currently in 3rd and 4th in this race, and 4th and 5th in the timed final, because they're most likely going to catch Nicole Oliver's 8:59.67, both Ching Hui and Rachel. Hima Thongkom at 8:25 has got 10 seconds to finish this race now if she's going to win the gold medal, and I don't think she's going to do it. But it might be a time below 8:40. No, I don't think so. The national record might be there for her. 8:43. No, that's off as well, but it will be second place in the overall rankings, and just the 5th swimmer in the history of the SEA Games to swim below 8:50. Amiga Hima Thongkom of Thailand finishing second again in the 800 meters freestyle. Singapore girls almost touching together side by side, Rachel and Ching Hui. It's Ching Hui who touches it just ahead of Rachel. And we'll have a look at the final results and the overall standings at the end. But I can tell you that Thailand have definitely won silver and bronze, with Amiga Hima Thongkom finishing first in this race, but the time 8:45.44 is 10.11 seconds behind Nguyen Tian Vien's morning time. Natanan Chung Krajang picks up another SEA Games medal. That's her 21st. individual medal at the Games and another bronze to go with her bronze medal win in the 400 freestyle. So the two Thai girls who swam the early part of the race run about 86 strokes per minute. They almost matched each other in terms of their stroke rates, and Himantongkom, I was just about to say, when Gerald was talking about picking up those stroke rates at the last part of the race, suddenly jumped by almost 10 strokes per minute in the final 100 meters. It's a race that is very punishing, we all know that, but it's as much in your head as it is in your body. And sometimes it's very hard when you're in the pool and you're swimming to actually remember what your tactics were before you even plunged in.
Yep. I mean, for me, if I swim the 800 meters, I typically like to break it out and to look at it as 4 times 200 meters and try and go faster every 200 meters. That means making your first 200 the slowest, and then your last 200 the quickest. So that's one way that you can plan your strategy out, and that's typically how I like to do it. If I swim, because I found that the least painful, I mean, it's always painful, but the least painful way of doing a long race like that. Likewise for the 1500, right? Split it into 3 500s and try and split it such that you're quicker on the last 500 than you are before the ones before.
Well, it's congratulations to Rachel Singh. It's the first time she's dipped below 9 minutes, 8:59.07, which is good enough for her. For 5th place, Gan Ching Hui, just missing out on the medals, finishing in 4th spot, 3rd in these finals. But remember, of course, there was a certain Nguyen Tian Vien early in the morning, 8:35.55, who will win the gold medal ahead of Amiga Himantongkom and Nathanan Jongkrajang of Thailand in 3rd spot. That is the final result, as we were talking about on your screen, 8:35.55, and then Himantongkom of Thailand in 2nd, Gan Ching Hui 8:58, and for the first time in her 800 meter freestyle career, Rachel Singh dips below 9 minutes. So we've seen the 800, but we're going to get the final race in a while, which is the 800 as well, but this time 4 men from each team swimming it. The final race of the night, and it's a mouth-watering one featuring Singapore and Malaysia. Welcome back to the Bukit Jalil Aquatic Center, and the final race about to start. But I believe Joe Schooling might be called up to abandon his teammates momentarily to pick up his gold medal for the swim in the 100 meters freestyle earlier. This is the race that all of Malaysia have come to watch and are waiting for. Singapore versus Malaysia in the 800 meters freestyle relay. Their golden boy against our golden boys. Wilson Sim, the 200 meters freestyle champion, up against the quartet of Danny, ZW, SJ, and Schooling. It's an event and a race that we've been waiting to watch, and to see as well whether the quartet can break their very own record, which they set at the last SEA Games of 7:18.14. We were talking about it the other day, Gerald, how strong the quartet is in the 4x100 meters freestyle. Danny, of course, part of it, along with Darren, Zhengwen, and Joe. The 3 of them are part of this as well, alongside Pang Shengjin. This isn't too bad a quartet either, are they?
It's a good quartet, but I don't think they're at the level that the 4x100 meters is at. Doesn't mean that they won't get there. You know, give them a few more years if they can train. I'm not sure if Joe's going to continue swimming the 200-meter freestyle events, right? But you definitely need him to be at the top of his game. I mean, with his best time, that's the fastest in Southeast Asia, I believe, up there with Wilson at 1:47. But you know, PSJ probably has to go a couple of seconds faster, and with if we have that fourth swimmer like PSJ who goes a couple of seconds faster, we could be very competitive as well in the Asian space.
And you just talked about Wilson versus Joe. Joe's national record in the 200 meters freestyle is 1 minute 47.79 seconds. The other nights when Wilson won the 200 meters freestyle just last night, his time 1 minute 47.79 seconds. How similar can they be leading up to this race? That's the reason why a lot of people have been building it up for a long time. Well, there'll be a lot of dancing at the moment, but who will dance after the race is over? Will it be a Singapore dance, or will the Malaysians get the ending they so desperately cave for from this final day? The fans have been great from Malaysia throughout in every venue. Let's be fair. They have sung songs for the other nations too. I know there have been reports of some of the sports where the scenes have been ugly from the stands, but that's few and far between. And the atmosphere has been brilliant at these KL Games. And that's a good thing about these games now that the other countries are interested in hosting it as well. Usually it used to be 4 countries hosting the SEA Games, and it just dilutes it a little bit. But if you're waiting for, 10 over years, a decade to host the Games, just as Singapore did, they waited a couple of decades to host the Games. The moment it comes to the city, it's just a totally different atmosphere altogether.
It is. I mean, it's good to get the local people attending these events. Everyone gets excited about it. It's always good for the home swimmers to swim in front of your fans, giving them a chance to watch you in person.
Well, these little girls will be looking and saying, I want to be like Jing Eun when I grow up. The Malaysian girls, you know, the same way that Singapore primary school kids these days are saying, I want to be like Joe. And that's the reason why they turn up. That's the reason why you hold tournaments as big as this in your countries, for the next generation to be totally inspired by. So we won't get the victory ceremony. Instead, we will get the finals, and we are pretty glad with it. Men's 4x200 meters freestyle relay. A storming race to end what has been a pretty solid day of competition from the Bukit Jalil Aquatic Centre. Singapore in lane 4, and the team most likely to chase them are beside them in lane number 3.
And the crowd's going to be pretty crazy here because we know that Wilson is going first, right? So he's going to give Malaysia the lead right from the get-go. And we see on lane 6 as well, we've got Vietnam. I don't know if Kee Fook is going first, but if he does, then you know it's going to be a fairly tough start for Singapore.
Well, they can't get their heads down though, because they have 4 very good swimmers who are swimming around about the same times if they are true to form. So they can't get their heads down even if the lead is not given to them from the first leg. But Danny Yeo yesterday looked very good, I have to say. First time he's gone sub 149. Wilson came out cramping up, having chased Kee Fook all the way in the 200 meters freestyle final yesterday and clocking sub 148 for the very first time. And the other Malaysian swimmers, Lim Ching Huang, Yap Zheng Yang, they've all been pretty strong as well, going sub 152s. So the team from Thailand in lane number 2, Kitia Tanakrit, Jirapong Sangkawat, Siwat Masakapong, and Seri Pansonbun are the 4 swimmers. No Thai swimmers made it to the 200 meters final yesterday. Now hear the crowd and the reception for this team. Keith Yap will be their final leg against Joe Schooling, who will be the anchor leg for Singapore, led off by Danny Yeo, the bronze medalist in the 200 meters freestyle yesterday. Then Kwa Zheng Wen, Pang Shengjin, and Joe Schooling, the same 4 who've won gold medals at the past 2 SEA Games, hoping to make it a hat-trick. Wang Ki-fok does go first, so he renews what was an epic clash with Wilson Sim yesterday in the 200 meters freestyle final. Triadi, who is already a gold medalist tonight, swims in lane 6 for Indonesia, along with Afla Prawira, who finished 7th yesterday.
It's going to be a great start. Basically, you have 3 of the final medalists from yesterday's 200 meter freestyle starting for each of their individual countries.
It's almost part 2 of what we saw last night, and if it's anything that is going to happen from last night, we're in for a real treat. Just the first leg of this 4x200 meters freestyle relay. I can tell you this, I don't think it'll be as big a winning margin as what Singapore achieved last night, and they won in the women's 4x200 meters freestyle. This will be much closer. So Thailand go in lane number 1 with Katia Tanakrit, Malaysia in lane 3, and they're represented by Wilson Sim. His personal best time this year clocked last night 1:47.79. Singapore with Danny Yeo, his best time clocked last night in winning bronze 1:48.98. Vietnam with Wang Ki-fok, his best time clocked last night 1:48.07, and Indonesia with Afla Prawira as their first leg swimmer.
We're seeing a very different race compared to yesterday. Yesterday we saw Ki-fok and Wilson really take it out at the first 100, but now they're pretty much on level together with Danny from Singapore.
Yeah, Danny actually left his charge very late last night, and Wilson this time in fact is in 3rd position at the moment. Is in 2nd position at the moment, I should say. Danny just behind them, and Ki-fok will turn first for the Vietnamese ahead of Malaysia, and then Singapore. Danny was actually over a second behind those 2 after the 100-meter mark yesterday. He's much closer to them now. Ki-fok yet again in almost a repeat of last night, a carbon copy of last night's final, takes the lead against Wilson, who will need to come back strong in the final 50 meters. Danny has to make sure that the lead is not too much of a gap for the likes of Zheng Wen, Sheng Jin and Zhou Schooling to chase in the next few laps. Wilson has taken over the lead heading home for the first changeover in the 4x200 ahead of Ki-fok. Ki-fok doesn't have as much and strong teammates as the Malaysians and Singaporeans have. Tan Chiam Toh will be next. He was 6th yesterday in the 200 meters freestyle. Good swim by Danny Yeo. He's coming right back into it to keep pace with Ki-fok. Wilson Sim will give Malaysia a body length lead ahead of Vietnam, and then Singapore in 3rd place. Singapore have Kwa Zheng Wen in the pool, whose personal best in this race is 1:49.17 that he clocked at the last SEA Games. Malaysia have Lim Ching Huang in the pool, 1:50.42 is his personal best time. And Vietnam, of course, with Tran in the pool. So Zheng Wen, he needs to know he can't get it out too fast now. He needs to know it's a 200-meter race, and he has time to catch up with the Malaysian.
Again, look at Zheng's underwater kick. He caught up really just from that turn alone. So I think what you'll see is Zheng looking very comfortable here. He's going to build up this race. I think from the 3rd lap, he's going to build it up, and then 4th lap, you're going to see him really bringing his legs with a 6-beat kick.
It's actually Yap Zheng Yang who is swimming for Malaysia, 1:51.22, his personal best. And this is where Zheng Wen will need to try to attack and just turn it up a gear and then another in the final 50. He has taken a slight lead ahead of the Malaysians. Vietnam still right there on the map thanks to Tan Trio, their 2nd leg swimmer. But their 2 best swimmers have gone on the first 2 legs though for Vietnam, who haven't won a medal in this event and look sure to end that drought tonight. Malaysia turning in 2nd, Vietnam in 3rd. Kwa Zheng Wen will head this home and give PSJ Pang Sheng Jun a body length lead at least. The Malaysians and Zheng Yang coming back strong in this final 50.
I'm a bit surprised that this race is getting as close as it is now. I think Zheng's a little bit tired, especially given the number of races he's had so far. Passing on to Pang Sheng Jun, so hopefully he's already swum the 200 IM, so he could be a little bit tired.
Malaysians have Lim Ching Huang, who's also swum tonight already in the 200 meters individual medley as well. So a chance for Sheng Jun to make himself a real star. His best time was clocked yesterday, 1:51.22. Lim Ching Huang's best time, 1:50.42. So he's clocked faster time than Pang Sheng Jin in his 200 meters freestyle career. But we've seen already in the SEA Games that Shingjun has come here in top condition. The Vietnamese are still in with a shout. It is Ngo Dinh Nguyen who swam earlier in the 200 meters individual medley in the pool. So I don't know if the coaches have spoken to each other or what, but those who were swimming in the 200 freestyle final yesterday went off together at the same time, and those who were swimming in the 200 meters individual medley earlier on are swimming together at the same time in first, second and third respectively.
Yeah, they're all equally tired, so I think it makes it a fair game.
2:27 the lead, with Shingjun having 75 to go in his leg before he hands it over to Singapore's national record holder Joseph Schooling. His personal best 147.79, but this year he hasn't been able to break 151. A little bit more for Shingjun, who we saw in that 200 meters individual medley, has that extra kick in the final 50, and hopefully he still has that in him as his legs start working.
Yeah, we're seeing the kick right now. I mean, Seungjun's legs are coming up, he's bringing his 6 big kick, last 50. He's just going to put everything he's got into this last 50.
Keith Lim of Malaysia getting ready to take on Joseph Schooling of Singapore, who hasn't swum this event in a long, long time. Schooling already a winner tonight in the 100 meters freestyle, yet again exploding off the starting block. Just that plunge alone built him a 2.5 body length lead over Malaysia's Keith Lim. Vietnam with Chu Tran in the pool and hopefully fighting for silver, and somehow with Schooling's plunge in itself and the way he extended it, it has quietened this crowd down a little bit.
Yeah, it has. We see Schooling, he's slowed down his stroke rate a little bit, getting into a comfortable 200 meters style, and then what you'll see again, right? He'll build it up on the third 50 and just go all out on the last 50. So you'll see him quicken up his strokes and bringing his kick as the race progresses.
So the lead has been built, and for someone who hasn't swum the 200 meters freestyle a lot, that speaks volumes of Joe Schooling as a competitor. He goes into the pool and he just builds on whatever the lead has been given to him, and just when we thought it was a close race, after 2 legs has been stretched and pulled so far apart thanks to Seungjun and now Schooling. SNS have been superb for Singapore for the final 2 legs, and surely now there's no catching Schooling. Malaysia need to catch Vietnam for silver.
Schooling is bringing in his legs again, right, as expected. His stroke rate is so different from the third to the fourth flat. He's just putting in everything he's got. I think this might be his last race for the competition. So it's
he's got the medley still to come. Let's not forget.
That's correct, the medley relay.
Unless the coach is deciding to chant it out with the other teams. They just missed out on the SEA Games record, which they set in 2015. Schooling takes it home though, and I'd love to see his split time and what he recorded, because it might be just his personal best this year, having not swum the 200 meters freestyle a lot. Vietnam, how well did they do? They have never won a medal before in the 4x200 meters freestyle, and the first that they win is in 2017, and it's a silver. The Malaysians, who led thanks to Wilson Sim after the first leg, will have to settle for bronze.
Yeah, surprise silver from Vietnam, but again, Malaysia was missing its second best swimmer with Daniel Bago, so that's a pity that they didn't get to race Singapore with the best foursome that they have.
Joe Schooling, he will have a rest day tomorrow. That's the only thing that will be on his mind now, and he'll look forward to it.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the floor,
Danny Yeo kept them in it. He faced tough competition because he faced off against the 2 swimmers that beat him yesterday to the gold medal in this 200 meters freestyle. So he faced some tough competition, but he kept Singapore in it, at least in the first leg. And the moment Tung Wen went in, Singapore started taking the lead halfway through his leg. Shingjun extended it, and Joseph somehow, with just this plunge alone, that explosion right there, just stretched that lead and never looked back.
Yep, the first start and Joe's last turn, the last underwater, if you watch it, the last underwater, he really took it further than he usually does. He went at least 10 meters and he brought his legs in, quickened his strokes and really brought it home on the last 50.
Great swim from the Singapore quartet, left to right, Xingjun, Danny, Zhengwen and Zhou, they were screaming at him to go a little faster because they wanted that record. Well, maybe if he didn't have an earlier race, Zhou Schooling might have helped them break that record. But for someone who has almost put the 200 meters fly and freestyle in the back burners, Zhou Schooling shows that when push comes to shove and he has to show up for the 200 meters, he still has that in his locker.
I mean, definitely. With his training, he definitely can do the 200 meters. But I don't know whether he'll want to do it again, especially given that it's a long course. I mean, he's so used to training with a short course, 25-meter yard pool. And I know he's quick in that, and that really works to his advantage, given that when you train in a 25-meter pool, I mean, that's where he uses all his underwater kicks, right? We'll listen to the boys now.
Help the relay to win and win my own individual event. So other than that, I think we had a pretty solid night, and I'm looking forward to resting tomorrow and finish up strong on Saturday.
You said that coming into this meet, it was more about effort, it wasn't about the times. There's been a bit of online chatter, just people just be surprised that you're not swimming as fast as other meets, and what would you say in response to that?
I mean, they can say whatever they want. My job is to come here and help the team as best as I can, win gold medals. That's all I care about this meet. Trying to win, can't always go best times. That's fine. Like I said, at this meet, it's all about me trying to help the team best as I can, and me trying to win as many individual events as I can. AKA all of them. What's the only thing? I don't know, I'm playing Netflix, so I just chill. Netflix and chill. But just resting, getting ready for that medley relay on the last day, and do the best I can. What? Designated Survivor. I'm hooked on that. It's a great TV series. I love House of Cards. Along the same lines. So yeah, I've been watching those episodes non-stop. Yeah, of course. I put a lot of pressure on myself to try and win my events. And Coach gave me a run for my money tonight, and he went a tremendous time. So I'm happy to come out on top with a win and help my team in the 4x2 tonight.
What would it mean to finish, to achieve your goal and finish with 6 here?
Yeah, I know that. It's always nice hitting your goals. I set out with the target of hitting 6 goals, and despite the times not being some up, some down, despite that, I think I would look back on this meet and say that I've had a pretty successful meet. It's been a long summer, man. It's been a long summer, and it's been a while since I've swum this many events back to back to back, like consecutive days. So I think this is great training. This is a great chance to see where I'm at, and I'll have a lot of things to reflect on when I'm back in Austin with Wyatt and Eddie.
When's the last time you did this medal?
NCAAs in March. Probably SEA Games in 2015, really, 9 events. NCAAs is a little different. It's a little shorter of a meet. The longer the meet goes, things get kind of tricky. People are usually pretty tired by the 3rd day on. And so, you gotta stay focused, you gotta stay grounded, and keep your eye on the prize. Thanks.
Thank You had a pretty big reaction just now. After the backstroke, you had a pretty big reaction. What was that about?
A lot of it was just frustration on losing the 50. I knew I definitely should have had that, and so coming into the 100, I knew that it was either me, it was going to be me or him, or even a surprise from Francis. And yeah, I mean, the time wasn't great for sure, but pulling out a win for Team Singapore was the ultimate goal, and I did it no matter how slim the margin, and I'm happy for that. Yeah. Well, I know speak for myself, but I think I speak for my teammates as well on this part. I think that everyone's in this sport.
Welcome back. So the fourth day of competition has come to an end here at the Bukit Jalil Aquatic Centre as we wait for our final 3 victory ceremonies. And Singapore 3 gold medals today. Kwa Tung Wen, Joe Schooling delivering as they always do at the SEA Games. And then part of the 4x200 meters freestyle squad that won the gold medal in the final race of the night. Joe, as we saw during the interview, had to run off only because he has got to go to the podium to receive his gold medal in the 100 meters freestyle, a race which was pretty close for him. Thanks, or no thanks if you'd like, to Hwang Ki-Fok. Well, we can have a look at that race again, Gerald. So we have a look at Joe Schooling yet again. Bread and butter for him, off the blocks and then off the wall. That's where he was very strong. Just like to have a look at this freestyle stroke from Joe. It's a very American freestyle stroke, isn't it? They always use a lot of the upper bodies. They love to use, instead of going for stroke rate and faster strokes, they're going more for efficiency and cadence more than anything else.
Yeah, very loping kind of swim, and that, I mean, that's not unusual, especially if you breathe to one side. I think you don't see that loping style when you breathe both sides, right? So maybe like, some of the distance swimmers that usually want to look at both sides, then, they tend to have more stable kind of strokes as opposed to this loping style that we see. But it's really all a power play that we're looking at.
Exactly. I was about to say as well. I mean, that's another one. Nathan Adrian has that same kind of stroke as well, That's why I'm saying it's very, very American. It's very efficient, you have to say. I mean, the stroke counts aren't as high as perhaps like your Morozov of Russia or something like that, who really windmills his way through a race in terms of the freestyle. But Joe has got that technique almost down to a T over the years, and he used to actually swim it in the 200 meters, but the moment he got interested in the 50 and 100 in the freestyle, that's where it was all upper body strength more than anything else, because we all know that lower body, when it comes to the kicks, he already has that natural power in it.
He already, I mean, his legs, right? I mean, the flexibility in his ankles, the way he whips his legs, it's what enables him to go so quick. I think a lot of people are going to try and do that, but I don't know if that's the way that his body is built. I mean, the way that his knees are or his ankles are, but it's not easy to have that kind of whip and the power that he does, right? I mean, Zheng Wen is another one that is world class when it comes to underwater kicks as well.
Well, when it comes to Joe Schooling in the 100 meters freestyle, where do you think he can take it with this event? At the end of the day, he will be remembered, of course, for the 100 meters butterfly, and that will be his signature event. We all know that, and that's what Joe's going to be doing for, you know, the rest of his career. But where can he take this 100 meters freestyle? The Asian Games? Do you think that he's got a chance for a medal at the Asian Games?
Yeah, I think so. I think he could get a medal at the Asian Games. Obviously, the China is going to be one of the main competitors there. Japan's always going to have one or two swimmers, but with his 48.3, he's going to be very competitive in terms of getting a medal at the Asian Games.
So he will be looking out for that. And the Asian Games, they swim the 50 free and 50 butterflies as well. So looking at it, Joe Schooling at the Asian Games probably will be in top condition depending on when the Commonwealth Games are at the Gold Coast, because he will be interested in that too. He's always loved to chase a bit of history, and in Commonwealth Games it will be the first ever gold medal for Singapore in swimming, so he will be very interested in that. And then after the Gold Coast he will go to Jakarta for the Asian Games, and whatever the sort of form that he's in, because in 2014, let's remember, he became the first Singaporean in a long while since Ang Peng Siong to win an Asian Games gold medal in male swimming. So he will want to continue that streak. And he won it in that signature event of his, the 100 meters butterfly. But he will get more explosive off the blocks. You think, Gerald?
He will. I mean, given where he trains in the US, it's all about the school where he goes to, the people that he trains with. It's pretty much a sprint school, right? So he's doing more weights, and we see he's a little bit more muscular than he was before. He's gotten a lot bigger, a lot more mass. So it's all boils down to his training and what he's focusing on right now, especially the 50s and the 100s, as opposed to the 200s.
Do you ever think he'll get back to the 200 butterfly again one day?
I don't think so. No.
I mean, it's such a pity, because that was the race that actually brought everybody's attention to a certain Joe Schooling in the 2011 SEA Games, of course, when he qualified for the Olympics. But, as I said, the 200, he's really put it on the back burners in terms of the butterfly and the freestyle.
I think that Zheng's body, the body type, his strokes is more suited to the 200 butterfly. So that's going to be Zheng's event going forward.
And let's not forget as well, the other one that's been put in the afterburners for Joe is the 200 meters individual medley, because I remember at the World Championships just 4 years ago in 2013, he was competing in that, in the 200 meters individual medley as well.
I think that may be a race that he might swim in the future. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, it's a sprint event. Even though it's 200 meters, it's 450 sprint of each stroke, right? So I won't be surprised if that one, however, he takes part in.
So even when he's not in peak condition, he still ends up at the top of the podium. This is Joe Schooling's 14th individual gold medal, which puts him second on the all-time list of male swimmers in SEA Games history. Sharing that spot with him is a certain Ratapong Srisanont, and he only has Singapore's Tan Tuan Heng, who won most of his medals in a 10-year span at the start of the SEA Games, to chase. And it really, whether Joe, as we have a look at Darren winning his bronze medal to add to the 4x100 meters goal he won the other night with Joe and gang, Ong Ki Fok did superbly well to chase Joe all the way. As I said, he's been clocking a lot of sub-50 times this year, and he does so again here at the SEA Games. Unfortunately, in order to beat Joe these days, you've got to go sub-49, even when he's not 100%. But back to Joe again in his achievements, just one gold medal shy of matching Tan Tuan Heng at 15 gold medals in the all-time list of the top gold medal winner for male swimming. If he stays interested in the SEA Games, if he continues, he might actually take that all-time medal record, gold medal record, to phenomenal heights, the same way that Jocelyn has taken for the women's, the women's category. He might take it to heights where nobody even touches it anymore.
For sure. I mean, especially if there's going to be 50-meter butterfly, 50-meter freestyle, that's pretty much a shoe-in for 100 free, 100 fly. That's four gold medals right there. It's pretty much, he has his name stamped over it.
14. That is the figure he ends up with in 2017, because there are no more individual races for Singapore's golden boy, Joseph Isaac Schooling. 3 individual events in 2017 and 3 gold medals, a 100% record just as it was in 15 and 13. Gold medal number 14 for Joseph Schooling, coming in the 100 meters freestyle. And another sub 49 time. As I said, in these games it was just a matter of whether Joe was about to turn on hashtag beast mode. But it must be so hard for swimmers like Joe and Jung-Won, especially Joe, because he chased that World Championships so much. He tapered for that. He went through hell in order to get ready for the World Championships. Right now, he must be hurting.
Definitely. I mean, this is his third competition that he's tapering for this year. Not even this year, I think in the past 4 months, he's tapered 3 times, including this one. So the first one was his NCAA in the States. He tapered for World Champs, and then now the SEA Games. And that's why I don't understand why people are giving him flack for being not at the top of his game. He's not expected to taper 3 times and be expected to do well at all 3 competitions.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing here is that this race in itself tells the whole story. Whenever he's challenged, and he was challenged in this race by Ki Fok, he still managed to win it. And he won it in the end, and it's only because of the fact that Joseph Schooling, nothing gets him up more than competing for Singapore. That's what he's always wanted to do. And whenever he does that, when he's competing, the pride of the flag is so much for him that when he's close to being beaten, that's when he takes over. And case in point, in the 100 meters freestyle, he did it all over again when Ki Fok pulled up close.
And like he said in the interview, time doesn't matter, right? All he wants is to get that gold medal.
And he did. 3 of them in individual races, 2 of them in relays, and 1 more to come perhaps on the final night in a couple of days' time. But then again, sometimes when you set the bar so high, the way he has, I mean, he's gone where no Singaporean has gone before. We can safely say that Joseph Schooling is the greatest Singapore athlete of all time. There's no peers, only because he has achieved something that no Singaporean has achieved before. That's winning the Olympic gold medal. Sometimes if you set the bar that high, people expect you to be at the pinnacle all the time, which is pretty unfair for someone like Joe. Right, Dipna Limprasad is taking part in the 400 meters final at the National Stadium. Let's go and see how she does in that event.
This is the start list for the women's 400 meter final. From Singapore, smiling Dipna Limprasad, already a medalist at these games. Getting away first time in the women's 400-meter final. Competitors will go once around this 400-meter track, getting off in their staggered lanes, but it looks like immediately Nguyen Thi Huyen is not messing around. The defending champion, gold medalist in 2015. Vietnam, bear in mind, has won every women's track gold at these games. So this is set to be another for Vietnam. Gold by a massive margin in the 400 hurdles over Dipna Limprasad, who's looking good for a silver medal here in this event, but perhaps even with a chance of going in on the best ever time. Still a 0.2 of a second, 0.2 of the national record for Singapore. Dipna Limprasad looking good for the silver. A battle here for Pulker to hold on for the bronze, but it's set to be an impressive gold medal for Nguyen Thi Huyen. She is superb over the flat distance 400. Indeed, she's going to win it. Can she break any records? No, 52.46. Dipna Limprasad with an impressive finish in silver, and indeed the Asian junior champion, silver medalist Supanik Pulkert of Thailand finishes in the bronze medal position. It was never in doubt. The double was certainly on. 400 hurdles, 400 flat. Silver medals in the 400 hurdles and 400 flat now for Dipna Limprasad of Singapore. And a very fine bronze medal for the Asian Junior Championship silver medalist Supanik Pulkert of Thailand with a new personal best, 54.55.
Ladies and gentlemen, the victory ceremony for women's 800 meters freestyle. Please welcome to the podium the medalists.
The penultimate victory ceremony of the night, and Nguyen Thi Huyen won this gold medal in the morning. If it doesn't make sense to you, then let's tell the story all over again. We had the 800 meters freestyle women's timed finals in the morning, where she returned a time of 8:35.55. It wasn't a heat, it was a timed final. So she went off with two other swimmers, dominated that field as we know, and laid down the marker. And then they had a second time final in the evening.
Vietnam assistant chef de mission.
And the second time final in the evening saw 8 swimmers, none of which came close to Tian Vien's time. In fact, they were a little more than 10 seconds apart from it. At least the lady in second spot.
Bronze medalist.
So, time to reflect and wind down on the career of Nathanan Chungkrajang. When she first came out, she was a University of Bangkok student and the 2007 SEA Games in Korat, and she surprised everyone by winning in the 100 and 200 meters freestyle, and we thought a new star was born. She was only 21 then, and she continued to dominate. 10 individual gold medals in all. But as the years pass, started concentrating a lot more on the long distance events. And this, her 22nd individual medal at the SEA Games. This lady might be tempted to take up where Nathanan left off, Amiga Himatongkom, but really she'll be more interested in the 2, 4 and 800s in the freestyle than what Nathanan was. Nathanan was such a strong sprinter in the 50 and 100s because of her ability to engage those arms of hers when she was much younger. This lady just slithers in the pool and makes everything in Southeast Asia look so effortless. Nguyen Thi Vien. You can imagine almost the pressure on her by the Vietnamese sports associations. One day she might say, I don't want to swim 10 events anymore, and they'll probably turn around and say, no, you have to. You know, because you are such a main source of gold medals for us.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise.
Her 16th gold medal for Vietnam. So Vietnam just one more goal shy of 30 gold medals in their history in swimming, and Nguyen Thi Vien has won 16 of those. Well, Singapore have had a good day in terms of women's swimming. A couple of national records broken, and a big congratulations on the track as well to another lady, Dipna Lim Prasad, finishing second earlier, we saw, winning the silver medal and breaking a national record too with that run of 54.18 seconds. Well, now that we've seen the women run the 400 meters race, let's have a look at the men's 400 meters finals from the National Stadium.
There's the start list then for the men's 400 meter, and another quality field. And twice a medalist at these games. Quite going in 4. Getting away first time in the men's 400 meter flat, and looking to get off to an explosive start. There's Anthony Barham, Trenton Anthony Barham, the 21-year-old, lives in the United States, trains in the United States, and set a 46.56 at the American Outdoor Championships in Houston in May. Is looking very strong down the back straight, and he's already passed men on his outside. But has he gone too fast? Because Luang Van Dao is coming back immediately at him. Also timing his run has been Masri, and Kwak 2 is looking good. But they should come out all relatively even as they enter the final straight, and they do here. It's going to be a sprint to the line. Who's got enough energy left? Has Kwak got enough to take it in the end? He's got a 400 hurdles behind him. Behram is holding on. The 200-meter champion is going to complete the double for the Philippines. He completes the double in superb fashion. Trenton Anthony Behram, the 21-year-old, gold in the 200, takes gold in the 400. What a run as well from Pachaya Suntun Tuam and Mohammed Azam bin Masri in the middle lanes. Kwak, though, would take the bronze medal, being congratulated by his compatriot Edgardo Alejan Jr., the 30-year-old who missed out on a medal at this championship despite medaling in the last 2 SEA Games in the men's 400 meter. At the World Champs in 1995 and the Olympic Games in 1996 in Atlanta in front of his home crowd. But confirmation then. Champion Trenton Anthony Behram takes the gold ahead of Pachaya Suntontuam of Thailand and bronze to Kwak Kong Lik.
At the Bukit Jalil Aquatic Center, we're waiting the victory ceremony for the 4x200 meters freestyle for the men's quartet of Danny Yeo, Pang Sheng Jin, Hua Zhengwen and Joseph Schooling. So we have a look at the race yet again. Danny was the first to go off, and then Zheng took it over and got them the lead. Sheng Jin extended it, and Joe Schooling, of course, thanks to this plunge in the pool, really pulled apart from the rest of the competition. The brotherhood from the swimmers there for all to see. Whether you're an Olympic champion or not, when you get into that relay team, egos and everything put aside, and your members going after the same cause. So Nathanan and Amiga having an interview with the Thai media, and it's very much the same Joe Schooling effect, isn't it? Two swimmers there and only one being interviewed. Everyone wants a little word with Nathanan Jungkrajang, obviously, with her stating that this her final bow at the regional games and the biennial games. And for Nguyen Thi Vien, tomorrow swimming in the 400 meters individual medley, in which she probably, well, not probably, she will surely win. You know, that will be Vietnam's 30th gold medal. So, I mean, just her and whatever she's done for the sport of swimming in Vietnam has been absolutely outstanding. Asian Games is next up for her, but I think more importantly for her is making sure she streamlines those events down in the following years. And she has said it already, that the three that she will pay most attention to and will be that so-called bread and butter will be the individual medleys and the 200 meters backstroke. And that certainly is a lady who knows what her strengths are, isn't it? 200 back in the individual medleys for Nguyen Thi Vien.
Yeah, I think those make sense for her to be focusing on at the Asian level. Like we spoke about, we think that she's actually, I mean, swimming so many events at the SEA Games, you know, it's just pretty much going in there, getting a job done, getting the gold medals in. But at the Asian Games level, she cannot afford to be swimming that many events. It's going to be getting, you know, bronze medal, silver medal, or winning a gold for her. And in order for her to do that, she's going to need to focus and really streamline her events. Like you said, I think the 200 meter backstroke, 200 meter IM, and maybe 400 IM will be the ones that she focuses on.
She definitely will be. I mean, a lot of people were asking as well, and it's three. And I think she's taken a lot out of the page of a certain Katinka Otsu in that. When Katinka swims in the World Cup, tons of events, sometimes, you know, 10. It's not unusual to have Katinka winning 10 gold medals over a 2-day period in the FINA Swimming World Cups. But when she goes for the main competition, like the Olympic Games and the World Championships, 3 or at most 4 events. All right, the final victory ceremony to say good night in the best possible way from the Bukit Jalil Aquatic Center, with Singapore winning their 3rd gold medal of the night, bringing their medal tally up to 14. And look at the events coming up. There is a high chance and high possibility of them surpassing the 17 gold medal mark, which is their best away performance, happening in 2011 and 1975. And that is a phenomenal achievement for a team that a lot of people, when they sent up to the games, were saying this could be a pretty young squad, so we might not win as much as 23. Well, surpassing 17 is a big feat for this very young squad.
People are saying why aren't Joe and Zheng swimming a few more events, right? So you know, obviously the swimming association, the coaches Gary, Stefan, they obviously have a lot of faith in the new generation coming up. And again, no better place. I mean, they have to start somewhere. Better that they start at the SEA Games level and get them prepared for next year's Asian Games.
And we've said it so many times before already, how Joe has alluded to the fact that it was here that he started to learn how to win and compete, and learn to soak in the cheers from the crowd, whether it's for him or against him. Learn to either shut it out or use it in his swims, which led to the Olympic gold medals. And he said it right after winning that gold medal at the press conference. So it certainly was a signal for more youngsters to be blooded at the SEA Games.
Ladies and gentlemen, bronze medalist, Malaysia.
Well, they started very well, as we expected them to, Malaysia. All because of the man standing to the left of your screen. The first one to have that medal around his neck, Wilson Sim.
With a time of 7 minutes.
Still has, remember, that 1500 meters freestyle event. And I think he will be involved as well in the 4x100 meters medley race because he is Malaysia's fastest swimmer this year in the 100 meters freestyle.
That's quite amazing to be the fastest swimmer from the 100 to the 1005.
And as you were saying, Gerald, totally agree with you. It's a sad state, isn't it, that food poisoning has taken Daniel Bago out of the squad, because we would love to have seen Bago taking at least one final bow at the SEA Games in front of his home fans.
It is. I think he may have stated that this could be his final SEA Games, right? I think they would have given Vietnam and Singapore a fight if he had been taken part in this relay. So it's been such a pity. We were wondering what happened to him at the 20-meter freestyle event yesterday as well, where he had pulled out after swimming the heats. So I feel really bad for him. He's obviously trained an additional 2 years when he contemplated retiring after the last SEA Games. So my heart goes out to him.
Well, the Malaysians were second for 3 legs, and Vietnam caught up, led by that man who is their swimmer with the most number of gold medals in terms of male swimming. Wang Ki Phuoc, this time getting Vietnam's first ever relay medal in this event, and their first ever relay medal since 1969. So there's quite a special moment for the Vietnamese quartet. Ki Phuoc also won a silver, remember, to Joe Schooling in the 100 meters freestyle. As we say, a big congratulations and wrap up the night before the quartet to receive their medals and the national anthem. Big congratulations to Samantha Yeo for breaking those 2 national records. Zheng Wen and Joe Schooling winning golds in their event. Nguyen Thian Vien with another couple of gold medals for Vietnam as expected. And the final race of the night belonging to these 4 boys, their 3rd gold medal in a row as a team. Danny Yeo started it off. Kwa Zheng Wen carried on the momentum. Pang Sheng Jun, who earlier won a silver medal in the 200 meters individual medley, extended the lead, and Joe Schooling showing that he's never too rusty, even though he hasn't swum in the 200 meters freestyle for ages. He will still be able to be there to give you swims for the ages. Good night for Team Singapore in day 3 of competition, or day 4 of competition I should say. 3 gold medals for the night. It's now 14 gold medals overall, with 2 nights remaining from swimming at the 29th Southeast Asian Games.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem of Singapore. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the 29th SEA Games medalists for men's 4x200 freestyle relay.
Hello and welcome to Today at the Games, bringing you the best from the 29th Southeast Asian Games. I'm Mark Richmond.
I'm Kelly Latimer, and in Kuala Lumpur, all the athletes from across the region have come together to see how they fare against each other.
That's right. Now, some have achieved personal bests, some have won medals, and for Team Singapore athletes, some with a slice of history.
That is absolutely right. A couple of sports in which Singapore has been waiting a very long time for medals. The first one for a medal at all, the second for a gold medal.
That's right. The first was in tennis. Now, Stephanie Tan has qualified for the semi-finals of the women's